Starting in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone.
Sobhanund Seeparsad, thank you for coming, also known as Pandit.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're most welcome. Guys, as you know, Sobhanund Seeparsad, Pandit, he's been a journalist, he's also worked in broadcasting theatre, he's a media man, he's also an educator, he's also written a book on good governance, and there is nothing that this guy can't do. If it's a spoken word, albeit in English, French, or even Bhojpuri for that matter, this is the guy to go to. If you need an encyclopedia and a wealth of knowledge, you need to talk to this man. Thank you very much for coming. Absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me to your channel.
No, it's brilliant. I've been looking forward to have you here for a while because the range of topics, your breadth of knowledge is awesome. Not many people has this type of grasp of the history of Mauritius, for that matter.
Well, I'm flattered.
Yeah, no, seriously, I mean, the amount of research that you've been doing is just insane. And just before we started this video cast, you were telling me about this research that you're doing on Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam.
Not doing, yes, as the research continues. I've been doing it for quite some time. Why some time? You must understand that he has been the first Prime Minister of this country and among the first leaders in this country for the Indian community, starting with. We had at the time, Mr. Bissoondoyal or Bissoondoyal brothers.
But hang on, so how did he even get into politics to start off with?
That's nice.
I mean, who is this guy? Who is Chacha?
Chacha comes from Mauritius in an area called Berry.
Which years are we talking about?
We are talking, he was 1900. He was born in 1900.
Okay.
He was born there, but not in Belrive. People mistakenly say he was born in Belrive. No, I don't think. Okay. He was born in Bois-d'Oiseau somewhere.
Where is Bois-d'Oiseau?
Near Bonaccueil in Flat district.
Oh.
In his maternal grandparents' home.
Oh.
But of course he...
And what's the name of his maternal?
I think it was the Ramchurn. I think I don't remember.
Sure.
This, I remember very well now. And then because his father lived in Belrive, so obviously the child was declared that he was born in Belrive. Only one writer who has written a very good book about him, although it's a it's a book like a friend who has written it. Mr. Sidde Selvam has written this, that it is the man was born in Bois-d'Oiseau, not in Belrive. And this is never denied, of course. We know it is true. And my research also showed that. In fact, the Ramgoolam family still have a piece of land, a plot of land back.
And then, how did he develop? I mean, he became a doctor. So what did he do? He grew up here. He went to school here.
He went to school. He went to a Catholic school,
okay.
In fact, and then he studied. Of course, his parents were the middle class, if you want. And then he grew up, went to the Royal College, and from there he went to study medicine in the UK.
And which years was this?
This was around 1926, roughly. Don't ask me the date now.
Sure.
You were asking again. I have to check it. It's very hard to remember. I mean, at my age, obviously. So, our outliner, he went there. And when he reached there, the first thing he did, remember, he was a middle class, coming from a middle class, not very poor, because poor never went to England to study. So he went there, he was middle class, nice man, but he went with a vision. 1920s, the early years. That was a difficult time for Mauritius. Very difficult time.
So it was under English rule?
Well, we are under English rule. He was working, his parents were on the fields, they had sugarcane fields, and then they were working. He went there, the moment he arrived, he had a vision. He met the people of the Indian National Congress.
In the UK?
In the UK.
All right.
He started meeting them, and during that time, he even came across Gandhi. Later Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes.
He knew it, he knew the struggle, they were struggling for freedom in India, and it was this one that, encouraged him perhaps to understand the politics. And then from there, he was with many other societies. The Fabian Society, for example, he became a member, and he got their principles, their philosophy, and he worked.
So basically, would you say the Fabian Society, I mean, they're a leftist society.
Yeah.
So would you say that he got his leftist ideas from them? Like kind of influenced his outlook?
When you are young, always these type of ideas influence people.
Sure.
They want to fight the system. This is what is called democracy. In a democracy, you fight what exists. If you want to discover the truth, you must challenge actions. If you don't challenge action, you don't go far.
Understand.
So this is what we did.
And this is a time where you have no internet, no newspapers, no real books, nothing. So attending these Fabian Society meetings, that must have really influenced his outlook and how he perhaps could bring these ideas back home to Mauritius?
Yeah, in Mauritius we had a couple of papers, but small papers, and you must understand that not most Indians could read at that time.
True.
In the 1920s. And whatever, was published, it was for those little literate class, or a few class. So he was influenced there. In England, there were publication times were there. There's a number of them.
Yes.
And so he got interested in that.
I see.
Now, he had a hard time there even. Here the fortune, dwindled, and then they didn't have enough money. And but the man worked also there and fought hard and became a doctor.
Brilliant.
Around 35, 34, he became a doctor, qualified. It took 10 years to be a doctor.
Okay.
Because you can understand.
Yes.
He had to work, he had to find his way, he had to understand things. He could have stayed in England.
I see.
At that time, in 1930, you don't come to Mauritius.
Yes.
The situation was very bad.
Uh-huh.
There was absolutely no work here. The people could work on sugarcane fields. The services sector had little job. Doctors were few by far. And then, if you reach England at that time, so you'd like to stay there. But this man returned back to the country.
What made him do that?
I think, my research said, he had only one objective: liberate his people. Come and work with us. He was not the only man. There were other educated people at that time who were returning back to the country.
Yes.
There were people like, I remember, for example, Jainar and Roy was here. There were so many of them. There were the Bissoondoyal brothers. In fact, Basdev Bissoondoyal.
Okay.
He went to study in India. He studied and then came back. They never stayed. The Bissoondoyal brothers, the three brothers were there: Sugreen, Sukhdev, and Basdev. All the three were fighters. They joined that fight. It was a collective structure. Everyone fighting differently.
Yeah.
But the fruit of that struggle went into one kitty.
Okay.
This is how it was. Everybody did its own job. So that was the time he came here. When he arrived here, he was a doctor. He was not much known. But slowly, he joined one society which is called the Indian Cultural Society.
The
Indian Cultural Society.
Okay.
The Indian Cultural
And
Society.
this is in Mauritius?
Mauritius.
Uh-huh.
Mauritius. In 1935, 36, he was there. When he arrived here, don't ask me the date because I have to check again.
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't...
But just the general gist.
The general, yeah.
Yeah, the general idea.
So he arrived here and...
But you're writing on this, obviously, so
Yes.
if people do want to get the exact dates.
already published, a lot of it is published. I'll
Uh-huh.
tell you a bit later about it.
Sure.
Now he came back, he joined a group of intellectuals who were fighting for the interests of the Indians.
Yes.
So, as an Indian boy, first or second generation it was. So, second generation, sorry. So, and then there were other people, they had formed a society called the Indian Cultural Society. The Indian Cultural Society published a review, a magazine, small magazine. It's called the Indian Cultural Review. And that was edited by many people. At the time, they propelled him as the editor. Why editor? Because in England he used to write. He liked writing, and perhaps many do not know. Dr. Ramgoolam, Dr. Seewoosagur Ramgoolam, he was a writer. He wrote under a pen name later, Thumb Mark II. Thumb Mark II.
Thumb Mark II, like
Yeah,
Thumb Mark.
Yeah, Thumb Mark
Two.
II.
Okay.
He used to write. He wrote a lot of fiery articles
Okay.
against the administration.
Is that the British colonial?
Yeah. He was back. When he was back, he started writing. I'll tell you when he started that. Very, very early. So in 1936, in one of the reviews, he wrote his mind. I'll call it his mind, what he wanted for his society and for his people.
Oh, so his vision of
His vision of things.
Okay.
What he wrote.
And when was this again? Which years?
1936. In one of the cultural reviews, it's in the archives, you can always consult.
National Archives.
No, National Archives,
Yeah.
only one archives in Mauritius
Yeah.
anyway. So that was called the Son of the Soil,
Okay.
Fils du Sol.
Okay.
So he wrote that. And it's considered as his manifesto.
Oh.
It's a great document.
Yes.
Emphasis on education, nothing more. This was a continuation of the Gandhian principle. Gandhi had sent a person here in 1901 and 1906 around, Dr. Manilal Doctor, a lawyer, to work with the Indian. He also,
Doctor was a surname.
surname, Doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R,
Okay.
Doctor,
Okay.
Manilal. So he also did that what Gandhi wanted. Gandhi had visited Mauritius at one time. in 1901 on his way back to India.
Oh.
And he was met here. He met, at that time, there was the Governor Bruce.
Yeah.
Governor Bruce received him. And at the same time, he met many Indian community. And at Tahir Bagh in Port Louis, near the Sandarbars,
Yes.
there was a reception for him.
Oh.
And he had emphasized again, Indian community, and any community for that matter, but he stressed on the Indian because they were working for the Indo-Mauritian who arrived here as indentured laborers.
I see.
So they wanted them to study.
Okay.
Said, concentrate on education. Education is important for you to improve your life. And that is what continued by Dr. Ramgoolam.
Okay.
Dr. Ramgoolam wrote about that education.
Yes, and that was in his Sons of the Soil.
Son of the soil. Then after that, of course, his struggle started. He met people, he talked to people, he went to the villages, he worked at times free for people. Because in those days, doctors were given, I was told by a couple of people, 2 rupees per visit.
Oh, wow. But still, 2 rupees at that time.
At
It's
that
still.
time. Yeah. There is. So when he was there, he was interested in politics, and then he was noticed. He came to the notice of the administration, the then British colonial authority.
So he was writing articles, fiery articles for that matter,
Very fiery articles.
against the same administration who kind of took
It
notice.
was not the type of things you read today. It was a balanced article,
Okay.
very balanced, pointing out the defects. What is the proposal? You don't come in one-way traffic. It wasn't that.
Okay.
So he was a man like
We'll come back to this point.
I will
In fact,
come back.
As you say, it's like today. So I sense there's something in here. We can talk about the media after this, okay?
Right. So
All right.
he wrote that, he went around, so he started. At that time, there was only one political, there were a couple of them, but important was 1936.
So what parties were around at the time?
There was Parti Action Libérale, PL, there was the Labour Party of Dr. Curie. There was a party, there was not a party system. It was created by Dr. Curie.
So just so that I can understand, at that time, so Parliament was very different to what it is today.
It was council, called the council government.
So what does that mean?
It was that, government.
It's not like we have now.
No, in 1886, for the first time, we had an election. At that time, in 1885, they created the Council of Government, where, for the first time, there would be elected members in the council.
Okay.
An elective council. Has to make a difference. There were council with nominated members.
Okay.
The government nominated those people
Yes.
they wanted, and that they were.
When you say the government, the British administration
British administration.
imposed here.
It was not imposed because there was a demand that there should be a council to run this country. When there was a council, this council was government-sponsored council.
From UK.
No, from UK.
Yes.
Every order came from UK.
Okay.
With that straight. The governor was the loudspeaker. The colonial secretary from the UK.
So he's the first real loudspeaker. not
Whatever
one
he
man.
said, and this one, blare it out.
Okay.
They ran by notification and all those things.
Yeah.
Now, that 1886 was the first one. After struggle, obviously, people at the time were struggling. They were not Indians, they were non-Indians. There were other people who were struggling. So in 1886, I'm taking you back a bit before I come to Ramgoolam, you understand? So your question is like that.
Yeah.
So what happened? 1886, government created a bit earlier a council. A council of government that will have 28 members.
So the UK government created a
Yeah,
council
the-
here of
the-
28 members.
Yeah, because it
And
was
these-
a colonial.
And these 28 members were people from the UK.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, mistake. For the
Because
first,
so the reason why is when you tell me sharing this beautiful story, just make sure you use when you say government. Let's differ between UK government and Mauritian government.
yeah, there was no Mauritius was not there. Forget Mauritius.
Okay.
It was a British colony, owned by the colonized by the British, not owned but colonized by them.
Got you.
They stayed here,
Yeah.
and then they were running the country.
And they were living here. I mean, they had people. There was like a there's a UK population here.
No. There were a couple of them. There were European, there were French here before the British arrived.
Yeah.
There were the French.
Okay.
I mean, the French population was here.
All right.
Then Indians started coming as laborers, and then all sorts of things. Slavery later was abolished, as you know.
Yeah.
It was already done. 1886, that council had to have 28 members.
Yeah.
28 members, 18 will be government people.
From the UK.
No.
UK imposed.
Who were working for the government.
Okay.
imposed by government. Governor will decide. The governor was the man,
Yeah.
and then ex-officio members, they would be there.
Okay.
18 of them, and or nominated also.
Sure.
10 would be elected.
By the population.
By the population.
By the population here. So
Yeah.
the mixture of the French, the Indo.
Who had the right?
Who had the
There was some qualification for you own property, you own this. Won't go into the details.
Okay. Yes, I understand.
But only those who could vote under the law.
Yes.
That is, they owned the property, they paid the rent. There were so many things.
Understand.
They could read, write. I'm not going to the detail. We're not talking about the conditions for
Of
birth.
course.
It was limited.
Yeah.
Mauritius was divided at that time into 9 constituencies, which today you have your 9 districts.
Oh.
So 10 people will be elected from 9 districts.
Yes.
Be very careful. How can there be 9 districts and 10 elected?
Yeah.
All the constituencies will have one only,
Mm-hmm.
except Port Pistu,
Why is that?
because it was big, it was the administrative center and a lot of people were there.
When you say Port Pistu, you're not talking in terms of geography then.
No, we are talking in terms of
In
population.
terms of population. So it's population dense.
So,
Mm-hmm.
these people were elected from there. So 10 were elected, 18 were nominated people. So you can see the balance.
Yeah.
Government will always win.
Of course.
So the struggle started from there. People wanted wider representation, greater participation in administration, a say in their own country. So there were a number of smaller parties came on. There will be, a long struggle goes on until we arrive at this.
So before
1948.
before Chacha Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam went to England, he actually grew up under this
Yeah.
under the system. And then he
Everything.
went to the UK, and then he kind of said, "Well, hang on a minute, things need to change."
Yeah.
And then he brought these ideas back in order to change this balance.
Sure. Like any other Mauritian who went to work, the Indo-Mauritian who went to study abroad.
Yes.
They had that vision. Many didn't come back. Those who came back, they came because they were patriots. They wanted to do something.
Yes.
And so he went there. When he arrived here, as I told you, 36, whatever he did. And then by 1940, slowly, he was nominated by the British government as a nominated member.
So
In the council.
Hang on. Is it the British governor?
Yeah.
That nominated him, or was it the British?
No, I'm sure the British governor would have
He's
got
the
that.
speaker, yeah, he's- that's
So I'll say
yeah.
only the governor.
So why did they choose him though?
He was a representative of the community, he was educated, he was popular. There are many reasons, and the majority were Indians. Yeah, they wanted an Indian, someone to represent the Indian in the council.
I understand.
So he went there, and then so he continued to work. If you read the debates of that time, you'll find him how strong he was in his argument. How some people say, he defended the British. No,
Where can you find these debates?
you find them in the legislative assembly. You have got a library. You have got the archives. You have got many. I mean, if people want to read, but people don't read in Mauritius. You know that.
Yeah, we could bring that up too.
No, they don't read this.
Yeah.
You don't worry. It's all there. These are facts. People are more interested in fiction here, not in facts.
Yes.
The facts are there. You have only to look for it. The facts don't come to you.
Yeah, you have to go
You have to go to Mohammed, not the mountain. This is the mountain don't come to Mohammed.
Sure.
So, I mean, these are the things that exist. They're working. So
So he was handpicked by the British in order to represent the Indo community.
Well, handpick, everybody, nominated members are always handpicked, but handpick on certain criteria.
Yes.
Your popularity, your education, your ability, and whether you're somebody who could be of use to them. Even today it's like that. Whoever is nominated has to support. But when he went there as a nominated man, representing the planters, representing the population and the planters and everybody, so he defended them.
Yes.
He defended the way it should, in a balanced way. Don't criticize
For the sake of
criticism. He criticized with a vision, with a reason, and this is what he did. That brought him up slowly.
Okay.
He was in the making. The leader was in the making. Now, what happened? 1936, the Labour Party was created. He was not a member of the Labour Party.
Okay.
The Labour Party was created. Mr. Cure was the leader, Dr. Cure, I'm sorry. Then there were one of those people, interpreters, a lot of emphasis is put on him, Sahadev, Pandit Sahadev. Pandit Sahadev was rather an interpreter in the group, and he joined in the group to explain the message of the party wherever they were holding meetings. And then there were a number of other people. but they failed in elections. They couldn't win. Now, by that time,
Why didn't they
but,
do so well?
I mean, the voters, mostly Franco-Mauritians were voting and other people. They didn't like Cure. Cure's way of... Cure was a bit ambiguous if you have to talk of Cure. At one time he was pro-France and then at one time he was pro-British.
Okay.
I thought it's a long talk, it's a long debate.
Yeah.
If we take, it will take 2-3 hours to talk on it.
Alright, okay. We'll keep that for some other time.
Now, the struggle is going on from all people, like Indians, non-Indians, colored, whatever. They wanted a change, better participation. I told you from 1886,
86.
it remained the same. Nominated, more nominated, less elected. So it was useless. You are elected to represent the people, you can't talk much for the people.
I see.
So that struggle was for greater participation, greater work, greater things for the people, fight for the people, better days for the country. Finally, the England gave a new constitution. That new constitution
When was this?
1947.
1947.
That was a new constitution.
So from 1886 to 1947,
It was the same.
It was the same. So 18 nominated.
Very little
10
change
voted.
in nomination. No, there will be a couple of nominations. We don't go into details.
Yeah.
But it
in
remained
general.
the same. The majority remained nominated, minority as the elected.
Okay, so that was the 1810 rule.
No, 1886 it started. From 1810, a one-man rule.
No, I mean the parliamentary system we had at the time. When did it switch?
Parliamentary went on the same way. It was based on the way England runs the parliament.
Okay.
But the same type of debate, the same. Of course, with years, during competition, the way it has changed. It doesn't remain static, So
in 47, what was it like?
majority of people were not voting. There were few voters. So there was a new voting system arrived. Those who could read and write and possess certain qualifications and all that could vote.
Okay.
So in those days, another struggle started
Oh.
for the election that was to come in 1948. Good. Now, the Bissoondoyal brothers played a big role in that. They went from one rural area to the other, teaching people how to sign their name.
Okay.
I always say with a touch of humor,
Yeah.
they didn't teach them they were teaching Hindi, obviously. They were very much promoting education. But that came, you must know how to sign your name to vote.
Okay.
Meaning, you must know how to read and write.
Yes.
So to write, you must sign.
Yes.
When you go to... So what happened? He showed them, between quote, how to draw their name.
Draw their names.
That's what I say.
Yeah. So if you had to draw my name, how would
It's a Hamish.
Yeah.
So if you know the alphabet, you didn't know Hindi.
Yeah.
So they'll say H is written like this. One stick here, one stick here, one stick here.
Yeah.
This like that. One round, one stick. And then you put it.
Oh, got you.
In Hindi,
Yeah.
so 3, a stick, another stick, this, and like that.
Yeah.
No, people didn't know. They know, this is my name. So he
Okay.
was writing it.
Yeah.
So if somebody, what's your name? Hamish.
Yeah.
Well, sign it. So he writes Hamish.
Yeah.
Hamish.
Okay.
Beyond that, very little knowledge.
Okay.
So the 1948 election came, wider the vote, more people went to vote. And there were supposed to be 20 members in the Council of Government, 19 to be elected.
Oh, so 20 members on the council, 19 to be elected.
The governor was in the council.
So the British governor.
The British governor.
What was his name at the time?
I forgot now. I can see.
Okay, that's not
Yeah, I
bad.
forgot.
It'll be in the book. I'm
Yeah,
sure it'll be in the book.
no, the book hasn't come yet, but
It's in the works.
I'll tell you what work was there. Unpublished things are there. The published, I'll tell you what was there.
Okay.
In movement. So, election was, there was no party. People stood in an election. They form a little group. Let's say you stand in constituency number X. So, 3 of them is there. So, they form a group. So it was like that. So, finally, the election result came. Ramgoolam was elected. 3 of them.
Oh.
With Vagji and other people.
Yeah.
What happened is important. Out of that 19 elected, 11 were in emergence.
Okay.
The power changed.
Oh, and that was 48 elections.
Power changed.
What caused this shift? What was
More
it?
Indians went to vote.
Because thanks to the Bissoondoyal brothers, they were able
But
to
only
rise.
for them. I mean, the struggle was for everybody. But
Sure,
Kure also was
sure.
for everybody. Kure, Ramgoolam, and all the leaders of the time. There was only one.
Sure.
But Bissoondoyal had a great contribution in teaching the Indians also, many of the Indians to vote. I mean, we can't give credit to one person.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
But one of the main factors would be the fact that because the
They
conditions to vote would be able to
Reading and writing.
Yeah, and because they could do that, that allowed that shift to occur. Obviously, as you quite rightly said, I'm sure there are other things behind
Yeah,
it.
of course.
But without that,
Nothing, they couldn't vote.
yeah.
The power changed.
Okay.
As you say, the Indo-Mauritians started running. The trouble in that election was, no Muslim was elected.
Oh, how come?
I can't explain, I haven't done any research.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, they were the leaders. I mean, they were defending the Indian community.
Yes.
But none of the leaders, none of them were elected. Not even in Portugal. Razack Mohamed lost the election.
That's a bit shocking, though. That's
Shocking.
It's quite telling, actually.
It was telling for the Muslim community. You know, at that time, it's a plural society.
Yes.
Everybody wanted, this is my representative, will fight for us, and things like that,
It's pretty tough on those guys at the time because.
Well, there was no such thing as one people. Never it was.
Okay.
It's a myth when people say one nation, one people. It never existed. There were always white, black, yellow, green. It was always like that.
Yes.
It was latent. It was not, as open as it is today.
Yes.
But at that time, it was there. It was always there. There was also among the Hindus, the high, the low, and it was there.
Yes.
When it came to voting, I don't know what happened. I have never done that analysis. The voting behavior has to be right. Nothing has been done.
Okay.
I don't think even the university has done research on that.
Okay.
The voting behavior from 48 even today.
Because that'd be pretty interesting to understand the mindset behind.
It is
why
important to understand to make a country. You need to understand its constitutional development.
Yes.
What are its drawbacks? How can we correct that drawbacks?
Yes.
We are living on drawbacks.
Yes.
We are making that. The cleavage is bigger. People want to divide and divide and divide.
Because the thing is, if we understand, the thing is, we are where we are today, and we understand voting behaviour today. But then, is it a learned behaviour, or is it a behaviour that we've inherited from the past? So if we understand,
It was a reinforced behaviour.
That's the
I'll
thing.
call it this.
So I think it's interesting. It'd be really good if someone, hopefully yourself, who can find out, well, what explains the fact that the Bissoondoyal brothers helped the population to read and write, and then we had that shift. But then why? I'm sure they must have taught the Muslim brothers and sisters
All of them.
how to write. But if they were able to write and go and vote, then I would have thought that they may have promoted some of their own leadership.
Yeah.
So it's quite telling how even though the Muslim community were voting, and yet they didn't get a representative. Now I think that's a little bit. That's pretty interesting.
I
to
have
find
not
out.
made any study of that. I must confess. I've read only through the archives.
Yes.
I cannot explain. But what happened in 1948 when a Muslim was not elected? There was a flutter in the community.
Yeah, that's
obviously
understandable.
it's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah,
because
it's normal.
everyone there's the general. We didn't call the general population at that time. There are Christians, there are this, Hindus.
Yeah.
Where is the Muslim?
Of course.
What will happen to the Muslim?
Yeah.
So obviously that community
Yeah.
rallied and they say, we must fight for having a representative.
They would which makes sense.
No. But that is a seed of division. Election broke that seed.
Oh, so basically we didn't have a clear-cut division before.
Now
election.
it started.
It's the election that.
There wasn't, as I said, it was a later division. But it came in the open. Where's my share?
But therefore, you can argue that the 1948 election was the most determining election ever
For many things.
for many things and for generations to come, including today.
Of course, it's easy to
The
understand.
repercussions are still being felt.
It's easy to understand. You had an Indian government. We are not being communal, I hope.
Yes. No,
That's the
it's a
Indian
fact, it's
government.
history.
In that Indian community, anyone at that time was elected from different. For example, Mr. Bagchi was elected together with Dr. Ramgoolam in the constituency. Mr. Bagchi comes from a Gujarati family, but still he was elected. So that division among the Hindu were lesser. They were voting. But what happened after that? 1953, CM was there, and
CM is
Comité d'Action Musulman, created by
and this is a reaction clearly to the fact that they didn't have a representative.
They wanted to fight for representation. So they had to rally their people.
Of course, of course.
So for the first time, Razack Mohamed was elected in 1953.
Oh, brilliant. So they managed to get some,
Okay, now, the political parties understood divide to stay.
Oh.
This continued. I'm not going in detail. We're talking of Ramgoolam. I want to come back to that.
Yes, absolutely.
It all went just a fleeting thing. I mean, the moment the election was over, groups started. By 1967, the division was put in the constitution.
Okay.
Where you have got 4 communities. You see, Hindus, Indo-Mauritian, Muslims, then Sino-Mauritian, then where to put the Christians and others. So they took all of them, all Christians, put in one box called the general population.
Which year is this?
1967 Constitution.
1967. So therefore, the political climate we are in now is based between 1948 and 1967. To understand that period would help you understand.
You have to understand why it all happened.
Yes.
They had to unite people.
Why and the how. Yeah.
No, they were easy. They wanted to unite people.
Yeah.
By uniting, they had to divide.
Okay.
Because divided, they can be, but in their division, they were united.
It's a bit like, it's like that saying, in order to make an omelette, you need to break a few eggs.
Exactly. This is what happened there. So after 1967, the process has continued even today. Even as you know, today when you talk of constitution, you talk of development, you talk of progress of the country, talk of one people. It's all bullshit. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's a lie if people come to tell you.
It's virtue signaling.
Number one, let us say it's visible, you see it. When I select a candidate, do I select his competency?
No.
I select his mediocrity.
Yes, of course.
As much as he can bootlick.
Yeah, okay.
And he must belong to a certain caste and community. Do you think that makes one people?
No.
It divides.
Yes.
It keeps dividing.
Yes.
And those people will use that. Hey, we are my people. They make the majority group will always have one of its.
But even though it is like that, and I agree with you, but we can't blame them for doing that.
No.
That worked since 1948.
We are not blaming anybody. It's not a blame. The system has continued. Had we, after 1948, started speaking as one people,
then it would be different.
Would have said, we are all Mauritian, all who stay here, those who are qualified, capable, people will choose.
Yes.
People should have been built around that Mauritian concept.
Got you.
Now we have built people as Hindus, Muslims.
Yes.
And finally, there are high Muslim, low Muslim, high Hindus, low Hindus.
It gets even worse.
And, we have divided and subdivided out. And this will continue forever.
Yes.
It is not going to change.
So it's like,
because power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. So that's identity politics, basically.
Identity
politics, yeah.
If we have to change, I don't know how, but I'm no expert in changing.
So Ramgoolam basically, when he came back...
He came back. He wanted to unite.
So
let me tell you, Ramgoolam wanted to unite.
In that period of division. So we're talking 48 to 60.
No, as I said, there was no open division.
Okay.
There was a feeling, he's a Muslim.
It was veiled.
It was latent.
Yeah,
it was there.
Under the surface.
They can fight for little things here and there. 1936, 1938, and even earlier, there were clashes within communities.
So how did Ramgoolam manage to navigate this? I mean, it must be pretty difficult.
Well, but people respected a doctor. A doctor was an important person. He went around. And then the best thing he did, the Indian Cultural Association was open only to Hindu intellectuals.
Okay.
When he became the editor, he invited other communities to join in.
So that's where he gets that title of Rassembleur.
Rassembleur. We are talking of Sir Seewoosagur now.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
Don't mix up.
Yeah.
Because when I say Hamish, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, of course.
Not to other Hamish.
Yes, of course.
I'm talking only about that history.
Yeah.
Because I research. Then he tried it. But the system, after 1948 election, the system decided that everybody wanted the share. Had it been, let's say, a Muslim community was elected at a time, perhaps we have fought differently.
I understand.
Perhaps, I say. I don't know. I said perhaps.
Yes.
But it wasn't there. It started, so everybody wanted to ask share. There are many things that has happened. This is another study. You can talk a lot how the division went on.
Yes.
There were a lot of things that has happened. But anyway, Dr. Ramgoolam tried.
Yeah.
But while he tried, there were other divisions that came in because of the system that went.
And then we had the party system after 67.
After party system, after 59 it started.
59.
So its emergence was there. 1967 election was held on a party system. For example, the Independence Party, the party that fought for independence,
Yes.
was represented by Parti Travailliste Labour Party, CAM, Comité d'Action Musulman, and IFB, Independent Forward Bloc, which was Bissoondoyal's brother's party.
And the fight for independence, was that something that they wanted? They wanted to get rid of the whole system of British rule completely, or
No.
did it emerge naturally?
No. They wanted a better say in the administration. I mean, a greater say. They were right for it. They said, we want independence. We'll work, but within the Commonwealth.
Okay.
I mean, they never went away from Britain. I mean, they wanted to. And then it was a time.
Self-determination.
That time of history, if you look at, you are from Britain, you are born there, you have read British history, you have done law, and you know that. At that time, Britain wanted to get rid of these.
Yeah, after the Second World
Yeah,
War.
they didn't want.
Yeah, well, basically that's an interesting story. A lot of people don't understand. What happened was, after the Second World War, Britain was in serious debt.
Yeah.
And in order for them to rebuild, they had to go to the United States. Then the United States imposed conditions and said, you have to get rid of all your colonies and then peg everything to the dollar. It was only based on that decision that independence was granted. It wasn't something that the British thought like, okay, this is a good thing. No. They had no choice.
No choice.
They had no choice. Yeah.
So that's another part of history. So then independence came. So to close this chapter, I'll tell you, surprisingly, I'm not going beyond that. In 1968, when we got independence,
Yes.
so we had later on, Dr. Ramgoolam was the Prime Minister. We know all the story. He was here up to 1982. 82, he lost the election. He was thrown out.
Yes.
Sir Anerood Jugnauth became the Prime Minister, but he was made the Governor General. I mean, Dr. Sir Seewoosagur, SSR I'll call now. SSR became the Governor General, and things went on until he passed away.
Yeah.
But what is very surprising, the man who started his struggle from his student days, I underscore this, from his student days he had a mind to liberate his country.
And he did.
He did, with the support of a lot of other persons.
Of course. It wasn't easy.
Even the last Prime Minister, Sir Anerood worked with him. Yeah, he was the Labour Minister at one time.
Okay.
So he represented us at the London Conference, 65 for independence. He was there. That is another story.
Sure.
For him, it's another story with that. But when you were asking about Ramgoolam, I'm telling you the story. So since that, he passed away also. There is not one single book, research book on the person. I did that. There are books written by, you pack my back, I pack yours.
Yeah, I understand.
He was poor. Somebody said very poor.
Leader worship.
No, but he was very poor. He had
It wasn't
where the hell did they get that?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a poor black person going to England?
No.
They couldn't take a bullock cart to go to Port Louis.
Yeah.
How can you?
Of course.
There's no research. They are based on hearsays.
Okay.
They write it. And then at one time, I can tell you, it just comes to my mind. At one time, Dr. Kishan Singh Hazare Singh was the private secretary of Dr. Ramgoolam, the premier.
What years are we talking about? Roughly.
Before independence.
Okay.
And after independence also.
Okay.
He was an intellectual doctor from Sorbonne. He had got his degree and all that. A nice man. I've had the chance to be with him for many times. We have walked a long way together. I mean, he liked to give me advice. We were young and so used to talk, very intellectual. So he had started writing after independence, around, I'll tell you, around 1969, in Advance newspaper. I forgot to tell you, Advance was created in 1940s by Dr. Ramgoolam and a group of friends to fight, and the first editor was Anand Pichada, who later became.
And Advance was basically to share the ideas of the revolutionaries at the time.
Yeah,
because he was like, was it in those early editions of Advance? He was thumbprint too. Was it in that he was written?
Yeah, Thumb Mark 2 started
Thumb Mark,
writing.
sorry, yeah, Thumb Mark
2 started writing.
Yeah, I like that pen. That's really cool.
Thumb Mark, it's really good.
Yeah.
Thumb Mark, because all the Indians came with a thumb people. Yeah. He was the second Mark.
Yeah.
His father was the first generation. His father's name was Mohamed Ramgoolam.
Got it, yeah.
He came in that
Thumb
family.
Mark, yeah.
Thumb Mark. It's a beautiful name.
It is.
He wrote many things. I mean, I don't see, nobody has even compiled those. But I thought, this is history.
Yeah.
We are living in a country that boasts of great development.
But no celebration.
Can you give me one book, the history of social studies in Mauritius, of social work? Do you have a book on economic development in Mauritius?
No.
We don't have anything.
And what's really funny is that people will argue, who will listen to this will say, no, there are such works, but they're like you said, then a lot of it is on hearsay and personal opinion rather than it coming from hard facts from the archives.
There are a couple of people who have written articles.
Yes.
Researched articles are there on economy. But if somebody comes from UK and says, I want to know the history of your economic development, is there a book?
No.
Is there a book on social development?
No.
Is there a book on cultural development? Who has done a research on the social life of the indentured laborer?
Surely the University of Mauritius would conduct these.
Give it to me, I'll make it. There are research.
Yeah.
But to help students in certain areas. Not that they are not doing anything, never say that.
Yes.
They do good work. But it's not that when you go, let's say I go to India, where I have worked for many years as a journalist. If you look for history of culture, history of economy, economic thoughts, everything is there. You don't have to invent the wheel.
Yeah.
Here, we don't have even the tire.
But they were jaunt.
No. Not even that.
Yeah.
Like Shakil says, nothing is there.
Yeah.
So, it's surprising. There is no book even on the struggle of Razack Mohamed. He has done a lot.
Because the thing is, what I take away from this beautiful expose you've done, and the works, I mean, obviously it's still in work in progress. There's two things that strike me. The first thing is, Mauritius between 1948 and 1967, okay, that period there, that has defined...
That is another thing.
That's
That
right.
defined the independent Mauritius.
Yes, that defines us, okay? And the second thing is the fact that why is it that from that period, what has happened to bring us to where we are today, that division? So I think that is really important, that period there, and I think more studies need to be done on this.
Studies from 1936 to 48 is one part.
Okay, the leader.
48 to
Yeah,
67.
yeah.
It's another.
Two parts.
67 to today. Third part.
Third part.
Now, within there are many other areas.
Because if you imagine this. Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam, he wanted to liberate Mauritius. He goes to England.
Yeah.
He studies, becomes a doctor. Goes to all the Fabian societies, the Indian societies, gets some ideas. He comes back with a purpose.
Yeah.
With a passion.
Yeah.
Now he's driven by a passion. So when he was getting involved in politics, he had a plan, and he was very selfless.
Yeah.
He wanted to bring a change to the country. And based on that because he could have just said, you know what, I'm a doctor, not many of us, I could make money.
He could stay there.
Stay there. But he came back and he had a purpose, he was driven, he had ambition in order to bring about a result, which he did. And what's really interesting with that is that it's very entrepreneurial in itself. Because nowadays, when people want to get into politics, you can count on your fingers how many people are doing it for the benefit of the country rather than their self-serving purpose.
Yeah.
So there's two things here. There's the man. So we need a book. We need someone like yourself, hopefully, because you're a celebrated writer anyway. If we can find out about the mindset of the man, and then from that we draw the characteristics and the values that drove him, and that should be able to act as an inspiration for us, in order for us to become a good lawyer, a good doctor, a good planter, a good whatever. So there's two things here.
Yeah.
And it's a very important period.
Of course it is. As I said, I don't have a book to tell me how he rose to be a leader. From his
Who he
days in
was, the
England.
characteristics, his growing up, his education, his
The
environment.
influence.
Who influenced him? His dad, his mum, his family? What gave him that fire?
How that worked, how the Fabian society worked on him. What was that effect of the Indian society there? There are so many things. The makings of Ramgoolam.
Yeah.
Or makings of the
The
leader.
person.
The person.
Yeah.
This was important. Nothing is there. I did all the research. There are, as I said, small books here and there.
Yes.
But they are here, pat my back, I pat yours. It doesn't give me really a picture.
An unbiased view.
Unbiased. The here and there. What was the good, what was the bad.
Yeah, the good decisions he took, the bad decisions he took. Because surely you make enemies. You know, so you'll have problems. You'll have...
The first enemy, him, in this country. If you sell 100 copies, you are called a best writer.
Yeah.
And if you distribute 200 copies, 50 will be read, 150 will be kept on the shelf.
Yeah. Well, at least someone's writing.
That's
I mean,
true.
we have to start
But
some-
it costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money. Can you imagine to publish a book how much it costs?
Well, yeah, but that's really interesting to bring that up because I keep telling you, you don't necessarily need to have a book published in hardback. I mean, I've got a book on Amazon.
Yeah.
You see, and what it is on Amazon.
Kindle.
Yeah, you get it on Kindle, so you've got a choice. Either you buy a hard copy, which costs you a little bit more, but the thing is, Amazon will do the binding and everything for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. And then you can even download it as a PDF.
Yeah, now it's possible.
But the disadvantage that we have in Mauritius is Mauritius, unfortunately, you can't sell anything on Amazon.
No.
Because it will not accept a bank account from here.
Yes.
See, and that is an issue. And I think they should look into if they manage to liberalize that, if whoever's listening can get Amazon to accept Mauritius bank accounts, then perhaps you can get more people willing to publish.
Sure, there will be more people who will come up with real good stuff.
Yeah.
Your bad stuff you won't sell.
Of course.
Simple
Yeah,
as
let
that.
the market decide.
You let the market decide. I mean, I'll tell you, when I wrote the governance book, it's a research book, how many copies do you think I sold in Mauritius?
All right.
According to you.
Based on the way you're looking at me, I'll say maybe about 4 copies, 5 copies.
I distributed many.
Yeah.
About 200 copies were sold.
Okay.
That because they knew me.
Okay, yeah.
And but in India, many people bought it,
Okay.
thousands.
Okay.
In the UK, it was sold,
Yeah.
used by university people.
Oh, okay.
There are a number of there were research students for their graduation, low graduation, have
Yeah.
made use of that book. In all references, you can find me there. We always get, hey, your book has been referred to there, the institution sent you. But in Mauritius, you never hear anything.
Why is that though? I mean, we
They don't read, simple as that.
Yeah, but we pride ourselves on being like a very...
And when you were in school, no, you were not in Mauritian school. No, you were right here, is it?
Yeah, I was at college.
In the high school.
Yeah.
There was a reading culture
Yes.
among students
Yeah.
because there were no other things.
Yeah,
for them.
no choice.
But not all those who read.
Yeah.
I worked in one of the international schools in Mauritius. One time, I'll tell you, I'm in the Boca International School where I worked. Children never had to be told to read. They were reading. It was a culture. I promoted also in my class. I said, even if you don't do my homework, it's all right. If you read,
Yeah.
they would read. But I would question, what are you reading?
Yeah, of course.
That is a check.
Yeah.
They would read books. If somebody reads, it creates, knowledge, and it helps writers also to come up.
I understand.
Unfortunately, this culture is not there in our schools. This is very bad. In some time, in the past, there was a student who used to go to the library classes. They would be exposed to books. But you know what happened? In some of the schools, children were given tall magazines and other stuff on the table to read. The books were kept in shelf under lock and key. What is the use of a library? It happens even today. Children don't get that. They have much to do. So they concentrate on the textbook. And textbooks do not take you far. Textbooks are written by past people,
Yes.
their past experience. They give you the pitfalls what are good, but they don't tell you how to go forward.
Understand.
To go forward, you have to read other things. So we have a passive learning style. And then what is the learning happening in this country? Whether you take any school, most schools, I won't say any, most schools, children are never taught the way it should. Our teaching is blackboard, chalk, talk method.
Spoon feeding.
I still remember when I went to teach at the Mauritius Institute of Education. My first class was history of Mauritius. I stood there in class, adults, 26-year-old, 25-year-old adults teaching. So we were teaching methodology and history. They listened to me, stared at me, happy, shook on the bench, laughed, smiled, nodded. It was nice. I said, oh, they're understanding. At the end of the first class, 3 fingers up. So, will you be giving us notes? Can you imagine in a tertiary institution, people expecting notes? But you should take your own notes.
Yeah.
They don't. In secondary schools, which I have seen, teachers come with past papers from the very first day. First day teaching. Okay, you have the past papers, all right, this is a question, this is the you give examples. But if you are giving examples, why do you buy books?
Yeah.
If your notes are books, why do you give notes?
Doesn't make sense.
You teach people how to discover that knowledge.
Yes.
I believe in discovery learning.
Yeah.
I tell something. I tell you in one class what I did. People were not reading books. HSC class. I asked them to contribute money. Some 200 rupees each. There was an HSC class. So I selected a list of books, different books, 30 books. They gave the money, not my money. I bought 30 books. Those 30 books. Then I gave each one book. I had a list, who has what, and a range of. So you have 1 week to read it, and we'll question. Right? Those who won't read will have it.
Yeah.
So they go to read, so next week or 15 days, depending on the type of books we're giving. You arrive, okay, today we have a talk. You read this book, let us hear from you what we have. Now they knew their turn will come.
Okay.
So they had to read the book.
Yeah.
Now after that it was changed to another one, it goes on. By the end of the 30 cycle, the one who has the book, the last book,
Yes.
saw him.
Yes, okay.
I returned them the books.
Yes.
One principal said, why do you have to make them buy books? This is one incident. So, to tell you, you have to create that culture.
I understand.
Even for small children, storybooks, you must know how to tell the story. I tell stories, a number of stories. I cook the stories.
Yes.
But if you're a teacher, you must know how to make stories. The elements of a story, the structure of it. If you can create stories with anything. So, there need be a conflict, there is a subject, there is a development, there is a climax. Nobody does that. Children are not done. So, where do you get these people to read books?
So, would you say if this has changed, is it a policy issue?
No, it's not a policy issue. I think, I don't know. I can't explain, I'm not there, but this should create, the system itself must change.
Yeah, but the system has to be changed by those setting educational policy.
Yeah. For example, for years there's a guy called Iris Peters.
Even if we do change educational policy, do we have the correct personnel with the
that's
appropriate training in
that's-
order for them to dispense?
Let's keep it for some other time, so we won't delve into that.
Because I think there's that isn't that McGregor thing? What's its name? There's this pyramid of learning.
You have a structure to go by.
Bloom
Bloom taxonomy.
Bloom taxonomy. Yes.
Bloom taxonomy. There are others also, Chinese, and there are many.
Yeah.
You must know the stages of development.
Yeah.
A child who is under 7, 0 to 7, 7 to 10. How do you set the question? How do you push the guy to study?
Yeah. Don't they apply this?
Some may be applying, I don't know.
So basically, when you say some teachers.
Some teachers might be.
Some teachers, but it's not like.
But in most schools, teachers don't even prepare their work plan.
Yeah.
They think what they did last year is the same thing.
And they just repeat.
But if you,
repeat.
I don't say they
You're
don't.
not saying, well, I understand.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
some of them prepare at all.
Yeah.
I knew a guy. He had about 5 years past papers. He had worked it 5 years or 6 years back.
Yeah.
And he was doing French, he would give the same translation, same stuff every year, in and out. So there was no change.
But this is not education.
This is no education, this is certificates.
Yeah.
Certificates distributed like vegetables, free delivery.
But that would just devalue the certificates,
Surprisingly, I won't name the university.
Yeah.
There was an educationist in Mauritius. His name was Sir. Nice guy, good educationist. One day we were talking. I have met him once or twice. I was young then. I said, I'm sorry to tell you, there are universities which are only extension of a secondary school. This one said to me. I said, why you say that? He said, talk, and certificate.
Talk, certificate. I love that. That's cool.
So that shouldn't happen. Some students I know, if you really want to do humanities side, which I know, you don't have to stay 2 years in school. Come to me, in 1 month I'll prepare you. And you may end up with a distinction. History, social science, economics and all this, you come there. 1 month is enough. I know how to do it.
It's really funny you should mention this because quite a few people, I have had one, Abdul, he's the director owner of GFA Insurance, and he was telling me that, it's basically, like for example, he has maths graduates that come and work for him. And sometimes he's like, okay, this is the cost price of this policy. Now, if you remove the VAT, how much is that? And they can't work it out. And these people have got A in mathematics. And he's like, okay, what he's noticed is that these guys are taught just to pass an exam, but they're not taught how to apply the knowledge. You see, it's application. And do you think, it's really interesting because you're not the first person to bring this issue up. I've had Véronique Papillon, who's a French teacher in La Confiance, and she's also raising similar issues. And then it's funny how this is mentioned, yet we're seeing a definite degradation, of the quality of education in Mauritius. Yet when you look at the policy side, nothing is being done.
No.
And it's strange. It's like, are they not alive to the fact that education standards are getting worse? Teaching has changed a little bit. So maybe if they really wanted to make Mauritius become an education hub, look, at the end of the day, we're moving away from agriculture. Mauritius is no longer reliant on the sugar industry. And we have to compete in a very competitive world, So therefore, we need to have a highly educated population.
Of course.
But in order to do that, it's thinking power, creative power, like the Singaporeans, for example. But therefore, you have to make sure that these guys, when they get to school, they're taught how to think, not taught how to learn by heart. And
your cognitive ability.
That's it. So I'm no expert. You are. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, well, you kind of know a little with your experience in education, right? I'm just thinking these guys who are setting up the policies at the top level, do they not see this?
I don't know. I don't work with them. I can't say.
But
I don't know their difficulties. I don't know their obstacles. I don't know why. There are a couple of things they could have done, or I don't know what is it. Resources. I really can't explain. Unless you go and find out from them. But what is there the teacher himself can bring in that revolution? You see, when I went to teach in one of the international schools, I still remember Dr. Ian Galliford, who interviewed me. So he had a history background, I had a history background, I had a law background, and I had all sorts of background. So he told me, by the way, how would you teach history? So I looked at him, I said, what do you mean? If you have a syllabus, I'll stick to the syllabus also, but that syllabus has a way to teach. No, I mean, if you go to the class, let's say, the youth traditions, how would you teach? So I told him, I won't take the book, I will put the book on the table, but I'll tell them this page we'll read later, but today we'll do it. Let's play. This is all my interview. He said, you are in. I said, there's no interview aside. What's the interview? Anyway, I went there, I got a huge salary at the time, more than what you got outside. So he said, I'll do the class for you today. Let me see how you react. He comes there. Hi students, this is your new teacher for history and business and And then said, but today, yesterday he did a class with him, I'll continue that class. He had attended one of the classes. He was so much impressed.
Yes.
Well, there he comes here, he said, will do. So the children said, because headmaster is there. So he took his two hands and they closed it and said, what do you find here? Something, sir. Okay, he lifted it up.
Yeah.
No, the backside of an animal. Maybe this, sir. But what animal it could be? What he's doing is make them discovering. Until he comes out, there was a bull type, the bull. Said, so do you think it was important for them? Yes, sir. So they started thinking how that community had bull, cows and all that. So they'll never forget that.
Yes.
It was a way to bring the concept, discover by you. The teacher guides the discovery.
I understand.
The teacher doesn't tell, guides. When they go astray, he brings them back. That's the role of a teacher. And this is how you teach, even economics, even business. You don't have to tell them, what are the functions of a sole trader? The guy is
remember.
But start telling. You are the retailer. What will you be doing first in the morning? Or let's say, you want to start a business. What do you need? Money.
Yes.
Money, sir. Is it? All right. We like money. Where do you get that money from? Loan, sir. This is what they will say. Put loan. Do you think the bank will give you loan? Do you have it? I will ask, sir. Okay, I'll ask. So it goes like that.
Yeah.
Until you tell them to understand that it's not money, you need capital. But is capital enough? I want you to start a business, let's say, making cars. No, sir, but I must know something. Oh, so capital is not important now. What is important? I must know the thing. So how do you call that? So you have knowledge, So you have to build knowledge, capital, experience. So the child, whenever he answers, what are the factors important for starting a business? I need this, but first thing I need this is what is required, but this is the pitfalls. So he understands it. You are teaching them the concept. I mean, teaching has a different approach.
It's funny you should say that because one of my other guests, Covercraft director, Povey, he was saying that at school you're taught to become an employee. You're not educated to become an employer. Because these ideas, the way you're teaching, you're learning through discovery where the teacher guides, that will actually help that person, that child, when he's older and he's facing the real life, how to reason and look at life. You see, and this is why I think that we're having a lot of issues nowadays where people can't really think for themselves because they haven't been given the tools for that at the beginning. So we need to allow people to think and to rationalize and to basically look at a situation and deduct for themselves using their own personal experience on how to come up with a decision. And I think that this would be, this will affect basically the future of this country.
I don't blame the teachers. No. Many of them know the techniques.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. Many of them has gone through education schools.
But
they know the technique. The trouble is the Mauritian population now find the fault with them. They put a prize on who gives the best results. Teachers are measured by the result that the teacher gives.
Okay.
Not by the education he provides. How we make the children pass. That's an A-class teacher.
So it's the quantity of pass rate rather than the quality.
That determines the teacher. So the teacher has to work for his bread.
Yeah, of course.
He's in a system that, imprisons him to do that so that he survives. The day he doesn't, I've seen private tuition. It reminded me that. If a teacher doesn't give notes, he's not a good teacher, even in private tuition.
Really?
I knew of an accounts teacher who would move from one class to the other, private tuition. He would put one of the problems, and then he would write the solution.
Yeah.
Then he goes to another class. It goes on like that, the problem. What are you learning?
Yeah.
Okay, the guy knows, if I put this, happens this, happens this, but these things can be done on a computer today. The computer does it.
Yeah.
What is you must know how to think, how to move at it.
Because to follow up on that, I did my LLB at the University of Law, and basically the syllabus was created not by an educational system, by the magic law firms in the UK. So the top 5 law firms got together and they created a syllabus. Now the teachers weren't just teachers of law; they were former barristers and solicitors.
Yes.
So when we were taught, obviously not all universities, but where I went at the U Law, we were taught from real barristers with real syllabus. And the advantage we had over those from Oxford and the Cambridge and the QMW was that we could work straight away.
Yeah.
Because we were taught hands-on approach on how to tackle the law, and we had the theory on the side.
Yeah.
You see? And I think that nowadays, like for example, if you have an accounts teacher at HSC level, now he's okay to take the syllabus, but that accounts teacher will have no idea what it's like to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get an accountant to teach accounts, because there'll be that practical element. Therefore, that student, when he gets into the workforce, he is prepared to start work, and that's where a lot of employers have problems.
You can think even ahead.
Exactly. So that's why sometimes you call them fake teachers.
Even for teaching law, as you said, if you look in my book, I think you got a copy of my book.
Yeah, definitely.
You will see how to teach law, how to approach law by case studies.
Yes, because you did your LLM, right?
Yeah, I did. I did my LLM, Master of Law. And I'll tell you, I didn't study the textbooks as such. I look at the problem, I solve the problem. Of course, I look at references.
Of course, yeah.
I kept on referring.
Yeah.
But we have a chapter in that, how to approach legal studies.
Okay.
That is the very first thing. And this is written by a friend of mine who was incidentally my lecturer, became friends. And we wrote the book together, a couple of
What's
days.
his name?
Ronan Fairley.
Okay.
Ronan Fairley came from England, high qualification, Dr. Ronan Fairley.
Yeah.
And he got it after 2 days in car. We became very friendly. He thought I was a law stuff, and I said, no, I want to study. But I want to study like that. I have my own way.
Yeah.
So he conducted that research, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then, this is how we study law. Law is studied for to find ahead, not to know the past. This is history.
Yes.
Law is history. If I take it, finish. What is the hell of that? I'm not going to recount stories about what is happening.
Yeah.
I want to know what can be done in future.
Yes.
This is the legal mind. Who that writer, it's very famous, the first book that we all read when we read law, Learning the Law.
Oh, gosh. William.
Anyway, I'll remember.
It's a small blue book.
Yeah, exactly. Learning the law.
How can I not remember this?
Learning the law, it's easy. The easiest exam.
Yeah.
But getting a legal mind is difficult.
Yeah.
So to get a legal mind, your study should be approached in a different way. That it shouldn't be the same. What was his name?
It will come.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought, but it's years back. Remember my age now. I don't remember so quickly.
Yeah, I remember that.
This book was. So studies or education has to be focused for modernity, for future. We are not building anything. What we are doing, we are creating clerks, office workers. They can't think beyond that. I call it the parasites of the system.
I see.
They will stay there. They won't go beyond. So this is wrong. We must develop our youth in a different way. We must let them enjoy their life, but at the same see the world in a different perspective.
Do you think maybe that's the reason why Mauritius isn't developing at the pace that it should? I mean, therefore you could argue that at the moment, in terms of the law, economics, finance, politics even, there is so much untapped potential, and it's basically the way we are educated at an early age is what's holding us back.
So we don't blame the student, we don't blame the others. Those who are supposed to educate people, those are not only the teachers.
No.
I mean,
for me, like I said, I'm not blaming any teacher, okay? But I'm always attacking policy.
Yeah.
Because I personally think the policies...
policies will change unless people talk. If people don't talk, those at the top at times remain silent. Why should they get into trouble?
The thing is, this really annoys me, okay? during the whole online thing, during the COVID thing,
Yeah.
all right? Now, I have some friends who are teachers who do some online, who they already pre-prepared the online teaching. Now, they had no problem. Their students attended the Zoom meetings, they handed the work, the teaching went on seamlessly. Now, state school, we saw what happened, all right, shambles. But what's really interesting is that 90% of all those politicians send their kids to these private schools. So you telling me that that policymaker did not come home and see what their child was doing and say, hey, you know what? That's a really good idea. Let me go to your head teacher and say, boss, you know what? How can I incorporate these ideas into the state system? They did not even do that. And that I find that really pisses me off.
This is a subject you rose even earlier in one of your talk with some teacher, I think. I heard that.
Was it yeah.
And even on your website,
Yeah.
not on your website, and your Facebook, you've written a lot about that education, what's wrong in it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some people think, others don't. They lost that. The thinking ability of cognitive is maimed.
Okay.
So you don't, they don't think. You know, for years now, 50 years, I'm growing old. For 50 years or 60 or more than that, I believe the name was R.S. Peters. He was talking de school society. He didn't say remove all the schools.
Yeah.
He said there is another method of taking education to people. You could have a resource center where the child can get into a live talk with one teachers.
Yes.
There are many ways. We are not going to do policies for that, but it has never happened here. But there are other countries, UK for example, distance learning was there.
Yes.
There were many institutions, Rapid Result College, Wolsek, all, a number of them.
Yes.
They never met, but they still met.
Yes.
I know many lawyers who studied law, distance learning,
Yes.
and there was interaction. There were exercises done, they were corrected, everything, comments were made.
Yeah.
We could have followed that and developed that type of system. We haven't. Today, in the age of technology, everything is possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Today, if you can sit, on your bed at night, 11 o'clock, under your blanket, look at your mobile, WhatsApp, you're talking in whispers to your friend. I think you can also whisper to your teacher.
Yes. Yes.
This can be done.
Yeah.
You have a live. What is the difference between behind the wall and in front of you on a mobile app?
One interesting observation that actually touches on that is made by Abdur. Now he said that basically for Mauritians to change, they must be compelled to change.
Yes.
They will not. It's more of a passive approach to things rather than an active approach. It's a bit. So we were talking about the whole online learning, online buying behavior. Because of that long time ago, but we had to wait for a problem to happen, and then we made that change. And he said that is one of the things that's holding us back from developing. It's a bit like how you said earlier on about people writing books. People will write books unless there's some sort of advantage to them. They will not do it. They'll rather
the thing is, they don't want to make money. Let me tell you very clearly. They don't want to make money. But if the book is there and there are people to read it, they will do that. Because imagine, today, to publish a book, any book for that matter, you need a minimum of 100 rupees for each. Minimum. Though it's small book, 100 big book.
Yeah.
You have to publish at least 300 copies minimum. The printer won't take it.
Yeah.
It makes an amount.
But let's bypass that. Just write the book and put it on a PDF.
Yeah, not now, of course. You just said it earlier. Yeah, that is a different thing. I mean, on the PDF now it's possible, as you said, Amazon, if it changes or this.
Let's not go too far. It's simple, right? Do it like this. On your laptop, you write your book.
Yeah.
Okay? You save it.
Yeah.
I come up to you and I'm like, Bandit, I want a copy of your book. You're like, Hamish, give me your email.
Yeah.
Okay, you email it to me, and then then you say, Hamish, it's going to cost X.
Yeah.
I juice you the money.
Yeah.
You get the money,
and
then you send me that PDF, and you put it on protection.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore I can't edit it or whatnot. Okay.
There are already some teachers doing it in India, Bombay.
There you go.
What they do, this teacher, they were using to write different types of notes and expansion. Bulky in economics, a teacher was there. And I met him when I was in the Pune office, or Pune is Pune. In those days, I was in that office head in charge for the Indian Express Group. I was in screen. So that guy used to write those notes, bulky. And there was a line of people standing. He was selling them for cheap.
Yeah.
He was not making money. He enjoyed writing.
Yeah.
So he gave them that book for 30 rupees, I think. I don't know the amount. Now, what he has done, exactly what you said. He has put it on his laptop,
Yeah.
and whoever wants it, just sends the PDF
Boom.
copy.
Boom, that's it.
So no, there's no longer any line in front of any queue standing, and nobody's there.
I think sometimes, I mean, you're quite right. You're quite right that you write a book and then you need people to want to read it.
Yeah.
But I think about it in a different way. If I want to write, I don't care if no one reads it. Absolutely, I don't care. This is a subject that I'm interested in. I'm not doing it to educate anyone. I'm doing it for my own personal benefit. I like a subject and I want to know more about it. Now, I take notes. I make my own notes.
Yeah, of course.
But then, now, if I have a bunch of notes in front of me, I have to put it in an order that makes sense, that's coherent to me, and it's there. And I'm like, okay, I have this for me. But then, if there's someone that talks about a topic, and I'm like, oh, by the way, I wrote on that, and I got this thing. Do you want a copy? Then you might say yes or no.
Yeah.
So if people think about it in terms of like, do what makes you happy. If you love mythology, then why don't you go and learn about that and put it down on paper or something?
Yeah.
If you like Gatupima, then go find out, well, where the hell did that idea come from? Who's the first person that made that? Don't just read it, just put it down. Right, so-and-so in the 1900s, and you have it.
I like this philosophy. You like something, write it.
Just write it.
Forget about others.
That's it, exactly that. And I think that's what people need to understand.
It will come. It will
See,
come.
and we've got so much information.
But anyway, like social media has arrived, and can't you see people writing? Everybody is a journalist today.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have one journalist.
Citizen journalism.
No, whatever call it journalist, they call it the journalist. Surprisingly. But the radio came to Mauritius. So we had phone-in programs. People would phone and give their views on certain subject.
Yeah.
One guy arrived at my office. I was at the press and then journalist.
Where is Mauritius or in India?
No, in Mauritius. I'm
Who you
talking
were
about
at this
Mauritius. I was News on Sunday at the time.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
editor of News on Sunday. The radios had emerged, so 3 radios were there. Then there was the public radio.
Yeah.
So one guy was, always on call, on all the radios. He would switch from one to the other and give his opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So one day he met me in a wedding ceremony. How are you, sir? I said, he presented himself to me.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist. I said, where? So I thought he was looking for a job.
I see.
It was difficult to get into a job at News on Sunday. It was not very easy.
Yeah.
If you did the qualification, real aptitude, I think many of them would not have a place now.
Yeah.
If it was only News on Sunday,
Yeah.
those who parade themselves as journalists would not be even a paper boy there. You know it. It was a very tough selection.
Yeah.
So, he told me, journalist. I said, where? I talk on the radio, sir.
Mm.
I said, which two? My comment, have you not heard? So he was a caller who called himself journalist.
That's
So
the thing.
no, it's good. He thinks whoever talks on radio becomes a journalist.
Yeah.
Whoever writes on social media is a journalist today. They're propagandists, not journalists.
Gotcha, yeah.
We have today, even in our press like that, 90% propagandists.
So how would you differentiate in your words, obviously, what is the difference between a propagandist and a journalist? Firstly, what is the job of a journalist?
The job of a journalist is to find the truth, expose the truth, put the facts in front of people, not necessarily teachers. He gives the facts. Let people decide, make, I should call informed decision about something. To do that, your reporting has to be balanced.
So let's say, for example, I don't like the color blue. I personally don't like color blue,
Right.
but I have to write about the color blue.
Write about the color, write also what other people think about it.
But I cannot.
One-way traffic is not important.
So I can't write it in a way that actually is my own personal bias towards it.
Not only that, you can have your own bias, but add other people, what other people think.
Okay.
Balance your story.
Okay.
Don't become what I call, a toilet doormat. Today we have a lot of toilet doormat journalists.
So basically what you're saying is really simple. Just write a SWOT analysis.
Exactly.
Opportunities and threats.
Exactly.
So the color blue, All four, and that's a balanced view, and then you ask 4 or 5 different people the same questions.
Yeah.
Triangulation.
This is called triangulation.
Okay, triangulation, and then you say, okay, well, this X, Y, and Z are saying this about this,
And let people to react.
and let the people then decide, make their own.
No, you see, you have given everything to them.
Yeah,
They have also a brain, a grey matter. They will think. It forces people to think.
gotcha.
But unfortunately, what we are feeding today in the media,
So you're saying today is propaganda.
propaganda,
And so,
pure and simple propaganda,
which is
very bad. Which is very bad. Let me tell you, I don't consider, there are very few journalists in this country. Very few. Very, very few. You know, those who are here now, you know, what has happened? When I look at it, I said, is this what I studied at the university? When I went there for 3 years for nothing.
And this was at Napier?
Napier, then you have got that Warwick.
All right.
So, you know,
And then you was at the Indian Express.
yeah, I was in Indian Express. I was the youngest chief sub editor of a national daily. Right? The Financial Express was there. I was known to be a very tough chief sub. I had made even people write more than 18 times a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is by the time when the person sold the last copy, you never recognized it whether it was his or not.
Yeah, I heard that there was a story about where you went to.
Cotton market.
No, there's a story I heard from you that you went to this thing, the airport, this Nigerian.
No, I tell you, that's a good story.
Yeah.
It was my first assignment.
Okay.
So we were young, 25 years old, 26. So I went from the office, I was given an assignment. My editor called me, said, I'm giving you, I find you talking well, you're writing well. I had done only 2 days.
Okay.
The third day, so I was happy and given an outside assignment.
Outside of
You'll go to the airport. There is the Federal Commissioner for Information coming to India. He'll be here. Interview him. Touch this, he told me. I said, fine. He briefed me on this.
Yeah.
I said, oh, great, very great. So I was happy to get that assignment. So now let me tell you a little of the background. So we were young and we had parties, we had friends, you're young. So I said, fine. I left the office, went there, to the airport. So I was waiting. Flight was delayed. Flight was delayed. And we go to bed. I mean, the paper goes to bed. I mean, the paper will have to go for print at 2 o'clock in the morning. And 2 o'clock means 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
It can't be to 1.
Yeah.
We have got editions after editions. We have first edition, which used to be sent to Pune. Then we have second edition for outside places. Then we have fourth edition.
So because that deadline meant that if you didn't represent the deadline,
Do
it
have-
will have a knock-on effect on the supply chain.
No, they won't wait for you. Why should they wait? The deadline is this finish.
Yes.
You have to work within that deadline. And then the last edition will go to city edition, 6 o'clock. So I was there. The flight was delayed, so I took coffee, I took this. Finally, they said the flight may be delayed further, and it was already 9:30, 10. So I said, hey, I finish work always at 5. If you are on sub-editing duty, there was a time, that from 7 to this and this, around the clock. So my job was supposed to be over at 5. And I was there at the airport after 9. And my friends were waiting for me.
Okay.
They wanted me to come and join. There was no telephone, but we had the public telephone. There was no this mobile and this.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you, man? I'm coming. So what happened? I left the office. And I left the airport. Returned back to the office.
Yeah.
Sat there. I went to the editor. The editor was sitting there waiting for that copy.
Yeah.
It's important. There was the Biafra War going on, and Biafra War means there was secessionist movement in Nigeria. There was Colonel Ojukwu and I forgot the names now. But Chief Anthony Anahoro was the Federal Commissioner for Information, like the Minister of Information. He was coming. So I came to the office. I said, "Sir, the flight is delayed. I don't think I got time. I don't know the time when it's coming or landing." Oh, so you came back? Yeah, sir. Oh, good. In that case, I have another something important, but don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Is your passport with you?
Yeah.
But we always keep our passport in the drawer
Okay.
of our own table.
Yeah.
Why? Because We don't know. We may need it.
Yes.
And then I needed it for my identity if I have to go somewhere.
I understand.
So, he said, you got your passport with you? I said, yes. Ah, very good. So don't tell anyone. Whispering, practically. So I took my passport. I said, when you reach there, give me a call. I'll tell you who to interview.
Okay.
I said, good, sir. I took the car, the press car, asked the driver to drop me. Quick, man, it's important. I went there. As soon as I reached there, I rang the leader. Sir, I'm at the airport. Good. At what time is the flight from Mauritius? I said, it's at that time.
Yeah.
Such a stupid fellow. I said, it's at that time.
Yeah.
I said, good. You take the next flight and go home. You are no good to be a journalist. I got the message.
Yeah.
I was a bit, surprised and stunned and whatever. So I said, sir, sorry, I understood the message. I'll wait and do the story and come back. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I understand what is going on an assignment. It's all right, we're young, and he was about 70-year-old. I said, okay, it's fine, okay, do that and come. I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
Down there. The guy landed at 1 in the morning. Ooh. So, all the journalists were there.
Yeah.
So I went there.
So you were there from what time? What time did you? First time. The
First time I was about 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. You were
He was supposed to come at 8.
8, and all this. So 6 o'clock till 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's like 6-7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours you waited there, and your
I
friends,
was in the office. I was coming from office.
Yeah.
Remember that.
and your friends were waiting for you to go out. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went there. The guy came. He started talking. Forceful speaker. I can't answer any question. Man, I've already spoken. All that I said, it's off record. It's 1:30.
Yeah.
And he dished out a written statement.
I understand. Okay.
I think it was 25 pages. The driver was there. I said, let's go to the office quick.
Yeah.
I started reading. In the car,
Yeah.
underlined this. Looked at the watch. It was only 10 to something.
Because you got a 2 o'clock deadline, right?
2 o'clock, the
Yeah.
first edition of it. I remembered having written that even on my paper.
Yeah.
Chief Anthony Amaharo proposes a 7-point formula for the surrender of Colonel Ojukwu. He was in Mumbai. I still remember that.
Wow.
The moment it was 5 to 2.
Yeah.
Then he said, got it, yes sir. Here it is. Now it went on 3 paragraphs, first edition. It was tweeted, as you say.
Yeah.
Then the next and the next. And then I understood what journalism meant. Then we had to interview people.
Yeah.
Now, there are a number, this is only to explain, you asked me the incident. There are a number of incidents like that. I lived in that profession. But when I came to Mauritius, I was a bit disappointed. It is not the same. Here, we are more propaganda oriented.
Yeah.
We belong to a camp or we don't belong. This is their way of journalism, and I don't fit in that.
Yeah.
I will never fit in.
Because the idea is to inform, educate,
No.
and to entertain.
It's not only that. Newspaper has an additional role, development. Entertain, anybody can entertain. A monkey entertains people on the road.
Yes.
You don't need a paper for that. To educate, anyone educated.
Yeah.
Don't you know that even if man who farts on the road, that is education, don't fart on the road. All these things are there, everybody does that. Educate, inform, entertain.
So do you think that as we, where we are now, the media is actually letting the population down?
I want to go to that length. They are giving their information. Not the information that the people need for development. To think. Look at news. News has views in it.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of news with views?
No.
Where is that? In which school of journalism we teach it? Have you heard it?
No.
There's only 1 or 2 journalists, so I can't tell the name because they're all competitors there.
Yes.
There's only 1 or 2 whom I respect. They go for investigating. They're not ashamed of asking questions whenever press conferences are there.
Yeah.
Others ask questions to which the answer they know.
Okay.
If you know the answer, why the hell you ask the question?
Yeah, of course.
Some write 5 news from 1 speech. It's not news.
Yeah.
It's not being news. This is propaganda. News, you have every day, 15 areas. You can have 15 news every day. Balanced.
Do you think, I mean, let's have a real life example. At the moment, the Prime Minister revoked his Minister for Public Utilities, Ivan Kulandavilu. How do you think that's been treated? Obviously, it's an ongoing issue, but yesterday it broke.
You know, I won't talk about it much because it's something.
Not on the case, but the way the media.
The media, you see, look at what the media to what the media is. You find one group will say that, they accused the man. He's already an accused, he's already dead. The other side will defend, the group will defend. Most of them will jump to conclusion already. Nobody has tried to understand that it is only a name that has appeared in a report, international institution report.
Yes.
The Prime Minister took the decision that he has to take. I don't know how the decision taken, but the name mentioned doesn't make him guilty.
Yes.
There is an investigation going, and the Prime Minister in this case is very right. Why should he have a commission of inquiry? It will take years to finish.
Yes.
He says there is an inquiry going on. Let that happen.
Yeah.
But people here already prejudge everything.
Do you think they prejudge it, or they really don't know what they're dealing with?
They don't know.
Because it was really funny.
They create drama where there's no drama.
Yeah, but maybe they don't. Maybe it's just that they don't know and they don't realize their actions. Because when I heard the news, to my mind, I was like, well, hang on a minute. He has to make that minister step down because there's an investigation into that ministry. So in order for the investigation to happen unfettered, then you pull the players out, let the job get done, and then we'll see what happens in the end.
Of course.
And that's
all. That's all.
That's all there is.
No comment.
No comment. But now, when you look at how the press and how people are responding to this, it's as if the guy was sacked and he was found guilty.
Exactly.
But it's two very different things.
This is not done. No serious media would have done it. But this is Mauritius.
But has anyone actually explained it?
I have not read it, I don't know. I don't know, to be sincere, because I don't read any newspaper.
Yeah, I do.
I no longer read any newspaper.
Yeah.
I rely on international news.
Yeah.
I have my mobile, I read on that, I know what is happening. I read news, I don't read all views.
Yes.
There are certain views done by very serious people, which call the Project Syndicate and others, which I read. And of course, there are papers like Newsweek, and there are a couple of writers in Mauritius who are fairly balanced. I look, the rest I don't. They're all propagandists.
Yeah.
They belong to either one camp or the other.
Do you think this is a natural change? Because obviously there's an evolution.
No, there are problems on that because most of the newspapers or media survive on advertisement. They might not get advertisement if they criticize some of the groups.
But wouldn't that mean that the like you said, if you have a big advertiser, obviously they will actually influence the editorial nature of that paper.
Yeah.
So do you think that therefore the role of the press as the fourth estate to educate, inform, and entertain, do you think that really undermines the true principle? I mean, should there be a better relationship?
You ask me the question different way. Is it a really fourth state here? It's a deserted, abandoned place. It's not even a state. Nobody wants to own it.
Yeah.
Go and ask most of the people. I can assure you. Let's go on the road and ask the children. I don't want the small children, even the high school. They do how many papers you read, which one you read. I can assure you 90% I never read.
Yeah.
Why? Because is it necessary to know why?
Because they have to hold government to account, similar to like the opposition. And that is good, but obviously you do it in a constructive and intelligent manner. But it's just really strange how I think. Now I don't know whether it's a natural change in the relationship between media, the population, and the government, or is it because the relationship between advertising? I mean, we got media. What's that media thing called? That media watch.
Media trust.
Media trust. Isn't it their job to be the guardians to ensure that the press?
I never hear of them now. I don't know whether it's there or not.
Yeah, but I bet they're drawing checks every end of the month.
That I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah, well,
I can't say.
I'm saying it. Right?
I don't know.
But the thing is, you need to have these institutions to work. Look, I'm not saying that. Look, in every institution there will be an element of negativity. That's you can't stamp that out. There's always be a small negative. But if on the whole, then what their job is doing, what it's supposed to do, then that is a semblance of a working democracy.
Yeah.
You see? And then therefore, on the other hand, if they were doing their job, then review the relationship between advertising and the media. Now look, you can't blame the media. Look, if someone is paying media company millions of rupees, and thanks to that millions of rupees, people have jobs, then that's a good thing. But what if that company paying the millions is actually engaged in some fraudulent activity? So they're stealing hundreds of millions on one hand into their pockets and giving away 1 million to this side, and then you can't write about that. Now, clearly you can't do your job.
No, I really don't understand the press here. Really, I'm not fit for the press here. I know I don't belong to them. I'm lost. You know that we had a paper, we were in the paper, it was doing very well. But you defend, let's say there is a policy that comes there, you criticize it. You are branded as somebody else. The day you say good about someone, he is there. You know, they put a color on you, and which is bad. A journalist has no color. Journalist has to be balanced in their views. If something is good, say it's good. Why it's good? What is not good? There's no perfect good. There is no perfect or excellent good. In that good, there might be a dark spot.
Absolutely.
So you must say that in your views, not in your news.
Yes, don't mix it. Have it separate.
Exactly. Today when I read, I really don't know which is news, which is views, and everything is there. And, why should you write long stories? Write small, give the gist. Who, what, where, when, why. That's all.
Pyramid.
That's all. It started in the UK actually. I think Standard started it, the News Standard. Actually, in the maybe 30 years back, they started tweeting news. The most important news is sent. Hamish Ramdadi has started a personal training school. Oh, good. Who is Hamish? Oh, the man who won the World Cup on the. Second. The third, how it all started. You see, when the tweet goes, it's everywhere. How is it? People don't read the whole stuff. All your rotten banana stuff. They don't read. What they read is, what is the news? Oh, the guy started training school. Good. Now, where is that? I want to know. There.
Then they dig. If they want to know more, they got layers.
The more you go by layers, people listen to it. For example, take certain media here, like news, you go on the hour, for example. You can't repeat the same news. Repeat what is new in it. You must know how to develop it. You can't start with, having somebody started the training factory, training school. Good. Next, training school. Next, he is opening his training. What is that? What is this? If I say he started a training school, oh, Mr. So-and-so has joined that training school. We started, there is a new development, new angle to keep interest going on. If you tell it to a journalist, he understands. You tell it to a propagandist, he doesn't.
He won't.
He never understands. Journalism is not, you don't come out of school when your underwear is still on the clothesline. You come out, you put in your back pocket a notebook, or you hold it in your hand, you clench a cigarette on the left side of your lip, you take your mobile or your recorder in hand, and you walk straight. Hey, I'm a journalist. You don't become a journalist overnight. It needs training. You have the potential, but it has to be honed. You're a diamond, it has to be cut properly. And there is a way, there is a structure, there is a law. There's media. How many of them know the media law?
You can count on your fingers. And that's really apparent because during lockdown, there was this girl, she shared a meme. What I found really interesting, the first thing, this meme. Now, the meme was fine, it was sarcasm, but it was the last line. That last line was
highly... one word in that.
It basically, it's the hashtag. It was highly defamatory, right? And under the current ICT law, you can tell that this is an offence. And what was really strange was that a lot of newspapers, a lot of editors, a lot of journalists came out and said the government overreacted.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I understand maybe they overreacted in the manner they arrested her.
Oh, yeah.
That I fully agree. They could have done it in a more delicate manner. But there was an offence committed there,
Yeah,
and it was a
course.
serious offence. Yet, for some reason, you have all these editors failing to apply the law. And so when you say, how many journalists actually know media law, like, libel, etc., and defamation and allegations?
There are more to that.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a year to learn that.
Yeah.
How many have that training in their own
They
institution?
don't have it. They don't have
You
it.
tell them.
And it's funny how these people, they pick and choose what they want to know and what to say. And they use social media in order for them to propaganda whatever it is
Yeah.
they want to do.
Even
Awful.
see the court reporting.
Oh, it's terrible. Hey, it's
So, I mean,
terrible.
because they don't understand how the court operates.
Yeah.
They get a judgment, they don't know where to find the obiter dictum.
Yeah, and you get the ratio right. And
They
everything is like,
don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it has to be taught.
Yeah.
A journalist is not a propagandist,
No.
is not a political agent.
Take complex issues and make it into a simple,
Right.
understand English. Like you said earlier before the interview, you can write English in 1,000 words.
Exactly. You don't need a vocabulary. Sorry. You don't need
complex.
a complex vocabulary.
Yeah.
When I was at the journalism school, one of the lecturers was called Frank Barton. Frank Barton and his daughter also was a student there. And he used to say to the daughter first and to me, because we're sitting next to each other, so, you don't use your English word with me. You have to teach Mr. Kamau in the biscuit factory.
Yeah.
Right? That is the guy who doesn't read much.
Understand.
You have a vocabulary of 1,000 words. Enough for an academician to understand, and you can write complex issues within that word.
Within that word, yeah.
You must know how to master that. You don't have to master the Oxford Dictionary.
True.
This is not the way.
Yes.
And you must write in such a simple language that people understand.
Yeah.
That people in the street, men on the pavement, can read you just as the man who is on the top of the ladder.
Absolutely.
That's what journalism is all about.
Yes.
You must master the languages, how to bake sentences. Sentences are baked, they are not written.
Yes.
A journalist bakes sentences.
Yeah.
They don't know. You must know how one sentence moves to the other. In any place, there must be a beat.
Yeah.
There must be a continuity. It can't be anything. You must know what your paragraph says. And in newspapers, you can break any time.
Yes.
For space reading.
Of course.
But the ideas should be coherent, should flow. And you can't jump on anything.
Yes.
Or you go to a press conference, Mr. X said on potato, then you also talk on social studies, then you also talk on, what is this?
No.
Are you cooking a khichdi?
Yes.
Or a biryani? This is not journalism.
Yeah. This is what you get a lot.
And that annoys me.
Yeah.
And that, because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I come from the media, from big media houses. When you go a job, I get the shock of my life. This is called journalism shock, not cultural shocks. When you see them doing operating,
Yeah.
and then cigarette on the lips, as if great people, they're changing the world. They're not changing the world. They could have taken posters, written their views and stuck it on the wall.
Yeah.
There's no need for this. So there are, of course, exceptions are there. Some of them are there, they can't work.
Okay.
They're limited by other factors.
By advertising, editorial.
Then many things are there. We can't blame always. Blame game is not there. But we can't change so quickly.
Okay.
In a small economy of 1.3 million, of which about 25% will be babies. So you are left with 75%. And of the 75%, you have 4 different communities. We have hundreds and one languages. Some, if you write in Creole, which is understood by 100% of the population, people will say, why Creole? My language, what it is. You'll just find it when Creole will be introduced, or they're planning to introduce in Parliament, this problem will arise. Why not Bhojpuri? Why not Best? Why not? It will continue.
Yes.
So everybody will fight for a share of the cake. The idea of journalism is to convey information, the right information. You don't, language is a vehicle.
So it's really interesting to say that. So you're saying that it's to convey information.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, we have media, and when we say media, we think of radio, TV, social media. Now, you're in theatre.
Yeah.
Now, if you imagine if Shakespeare was alive today, why can't we have plays based on these events?
Of course.
I mean, that would be a cool way to revamp theatre,
Yeah.
and then you have pure facts.
Yeah.
So theatre will have to use the dramas from real facts.
Right.
So if someone instead doesn't read the news, then they could actually watch a play.
You know, people
Of the
come
news.
here even for plays, they come with set ideas. Play should be this, this. No, this is not drama.
Why can't they can enact a news story, an important one.
They do that in countries like UK. They do it, and they don't need a set. They don't do anything.
No, you don't.
They use stand on the street corner and you start it. You know, we had it in Bombay.
Yeah.
We would go, 5 friends of us. There's the price hike of petrol. The script comes by itself, and people join in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that gives information, conveying of information,
Yeah.
thoughts.
So there's theatre, arts, and drama. You're also involved
Yeah,
in that.
yeah,
in that
very
world.
much.
And film directing, and you're
Yeah.
yourself an actor, and
Well,
c'est la vie,
I'm again a misfit here.
you know.
I'm a misfit. I have trained, you know.
What do you think about combining media
It
and
has
theatre?
to. But media like you are doing, I mean, Lift Army is doing this a very good job. Talk
with it.
Repel
Yeah.
is doing that a nice job.
Thank
You are
you.
telling them things. We are talking many things.
Yes.
I mean, this is the way to do it. We can go on this, start it up, and sit down. No. Yeah. I think the name is Mahendra Pratap Singh.
Okay.
I think. He came, I was involved in the Bhojpuri theatre and the English theatre. So he came, he said, let's do some play. There were some artists, local artists were there. We'll do some play. Hey, you write something for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sitting there.
Yeah,
You write one for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell you anything.
Okay.
You write something.
Yeah.
You should know the elements of writing.
Okay. Which are?
Right. You must have characters first.
Okay.
You must have the story. For a story to evolve, there must be conflict in that story.
Yeah. Inciting incident.
Inciting incident, that is first.
Okay.
First is inciting, something must happen.
Yes.
Well, it's not going in there. It's, unfortunately, they don't know this. They have learned this is drama and this is all. They don't know anything absolutely. For 50 years we are doing the drama. Has it evolved in Mauritius? Do you find professional groups?
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't watch drama, immersion, or.
Never watch that. You can be sick.
Okay.
So, anyway.
I'll take your word for it.
So, don't do that.
Okay.
When I stage 1, you come and
Oh,
watch.
that I will come.
do
I will
that.
come. I will come.
We'll soon come with digital media can be used.
Yeah.
So anyway, what you said, what the man did, so we sat down. You will be surprised. These people came, about 5, but don't put more characters, I need only 4 characters, because there was that number of people. So I divide, you 4. Within 5 minutes, there was all that elements in it, and fantastic. On spot created. That's what you are telling. We could do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Provided give that training to the little groups.
Structure.
The other thing is, if you go in, where's the theatre?
This could be anywhere. In the garage, in the garden,
Anywhere.
on the beach. It doesn't have to be
A structure.
It does not. You do not need that. You don't need that. And what's really funny is one of the currently, as we're speaking, in June 2020, Dave Chappelle is one of the biggest comedians around the world, especially in America. He's huge. Do you know what he's doing? He's a huge comedian. This guy commands by millions of dollars. Okay, he just walks into a park or anywhere with a speaker and a microphone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. He just puts that down there and he starts doing comedy and people start coming around and he doesn't ask for money. Yeah. So if you've got a superstar comedian who can do that because it's his art, then why do you need to have lighting? Why do you have this? A lot of people tell me when I do these talks I have, look, I've got a wooden chair, got my phone there, got a microphone.
No, you're bored, that's why for the moment.
Yeah, well,
You'll buy better chairs.
That will come.
Or if somebody gives you some,
But people keep saying that, Hamish, you need better lighting. Hamish, you need this and that. And I'm like, look, You know, I'm not going to wait until I have that in order to do what I'm passionate about. I will start it this way. When I started doing Lift Army, you mentioned it, I remember using books. I didn't have a stand for my phone.
Okay.
I had a Samsung S3. I had to get books, put it one on top of the other, and get the angle. I used blue tack. I put blue tack at the bottom of the phone, I stuck it in. Then the phone will tilt. I'll get a straw, a plastic straw, and I'll jam it at the back of it and hold it there. And whilst I'm doing my Lift Army first videos, I was praying, don't drop, don't drop, don't drop. Do you know how many times the phone fell, I had to do it again? I didn't have anything. Just had the phone. This whiteboard that you see behind me.
Yeah, I know that. I used to see that.
You know, and for me, it was important to get the information across. For me, it wasn't about the type of phone I had, the type of lighting. If it was sufficient for the person to understand something, that was good enough. And it's the same thing for theatre. I believe that you don't need to have a structure or anything.
No.
All you need is what you said, that idea.
The idea, the structure is there.
That's it. That's all you need.
You know how many structures you have? Structure. I'm not talking open air. Structure. We have over 213 Mauritius. Every school has got a gymnasium. Most schools.
You just need a classroom. Really, truly. You just need a classroom or a hall.
How many theatres you need?
That's it. We've got everything. So this is what I don't understand why. Let's say, for example, people don't go watch a story, a drama play. But then what if you reenact the news? I mean, people are interested in news. Do political things. Have, like, once the Prime Minister doing this issue, talking about this, talking about that, the elections. There's so much subject matter.
So much.
Wherever you look,
every minute there is a subject.
There is a subject. It doesn't have to be some story written by some guy thousands, because people don't relate to that. And what's really cool is if you do something that's current.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say, for example, they got this this TV reality show.
Yeah.
That they're doing. Why can't there be a drama with just a few people pretending to do that? Because all the youngsters are actually looking forward to this.
There are so many ideas.
But then you get youngsters interested in drama, interested in what's going on, and that's how you can educate them differently.
I saw that on the NBC during the confinement.
Yeah.
Very nice work. Congratulations to the NBC. At least after the news, there were kids talking, you know, what kids think about COVID.
Yeah.
So you have small kids, 4-year-old, 5 years, 6 years. Wash your hands, do this, but, you know, it looks so nice.
Yes.
At the end of that news, which I never watched, but when it came to that, I would come and see these children saying, COVID is dangerous, wash your hand, what's this? I said, oh, these kids. So if they can do that before the camera, I think they can do small 3 minutes plays, 5 minutes plays, 30 seconds plays.
Absolutely. And plus they're going to be engaged in the material.
When we went to the film school in the UK, remember they said, when we were in the film school, what they said? We can make film for 1 minute, for 30 seconds, for 3 minutes. Why can't we do that drama?
It can be done. River dance.
And then put it as you know, within the Facebook or whatever you want. For more people to see.
Yes.
In the classroom, one-act plays in the 50s was very much popular. Small, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In the primary school, children, you know, I started theatre at the age of 12. No, 10 years.
Okay.
I played my first role, a fat woman. I put a lot of clothes on me, it was in the book, and I played that. So, why not now?
Yeah.
Why not, do it with all the students. Build them. Well, you are not building them to be actors.
No.
You're building them for creative art, for performing arts. You're bringing them to understand, to think.
This is why apps like TikTok, people always criticize TikTok, but TikTok is exactly theatre.
Yeah.
Because you've got a song and you have to dance to it or mime to it or whatever it is, perform to it, which is a form of theatre.
It is.
And a lot of people deride it because, you know, on social media they share the worst of TikTok. You don't see the good quality stuff, and some really good quality TikTokers out there. Unfortunately, you know, when you do something good, it doesn't get advertised. It's only when you do something bad that everyone talks about
But this is the problem even in Mauritius, Mauritian media. Hold a program on economics, serious stuff. Or like you said, this revocation case, a serious one. You would have two different examples. I'll take the same. You do something on economics. For example, now like the financial stuff, we are going in trouble. Very few callers. You won't get callers.
Because they don't understand the subjects.
No, even if they understand the interest, they don't know what is happening. How many people who go to vote know the manifesto of the party?
You know.
How many have read the manifesto? I'm asking a question.
Yeah. Well, what's really interesting, because in this last election, which I was fortunate to be here, only one party took it out really early, was the Reform Party.
Yeah,
and they were very scientific and
Exactly.
explained it. And it was only like a few weeks before the election that other mainstream parties pulled theirs out.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, they kind of copied a few bits and pieces.
The
from
reform talked on its reform.
Yeah.
They had the reform release, what they are looking for,
Yes.
and then they talk. The rest came after,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they hardly talk about it.
They don't.
We have done this, we have done that.
That's it.
So this is, okay, that is their stuff. But how many people really read it and understand?
They don't. They don't.
How many people in this country have read the budget?
Not even.
1%, 2%? Only perhaps those who are in business.
Yeah, sure.
But the general population never read, and it is the policy of the government for the year.
But they do know that they're getting cheaper gas, though, right?
No, that is benefits. I'm asking all the whole plan, because this is part of the plan. It's the offshoot of it.
But do you think people only read what applies to them?
They are more interested in their day-to-day stuff. The price of gas has gone down. The price of tomatoes has gone up.
Sugar.
They're not interested overall. And everybody will say, my money is not enough. But they don't realize that they pay for their own money.
Yes, yeah. That's a good point.
They really don't know.
Yeah.
Our government has not given increase. How can you give increase? You should make the increase.
Yeah.
So that it's distributed.
Yeah.
Government has a kitty. You put your money there,
Yeah.
and the government tries to distribute
it out, yeah.
A responsible government only does that.
Yes.
But people think government is printing the money.
They give less, yet get more.
They don't understand. Number two, how many people really read the government program?
No.
That is the program on which the government will work for 5 years. They're not emergency measures, obviously.
yeah.
But this is what they will stick to. But nobody cares for that.
Yeah.
They stick for other things.
Which is the budget? The budget is the government program.
First is the government plan. That is the 5-year plan, which is read by the president the moment the new government is formed. This is
State address.
a state address, or called the president address, in which it lays down the broad guidelines what will happen in its government for 5 years.
Yeah.
A mandate is there. So to reach that 5th year, every year, so that's the strategy for 5 years.
Yeah.
So every year the budget is a strategic, it's a tactical plan, which they see, okay, in the first year we'll achieve this, second this, until we achieve it. There may be obstacle on the way, that they will take steps to it. But how many people read these two documents?
Well, I thought they would have, most people should read this, because it's only at the end of the 5-year mandate that you'll be able to judge the performance on the government
Exactly.
based on that state address and the budget.
But as I said earlier,
That's what you need to use.
as I said earlier, they won't base on any progress or any stuff. They'll base on who is their people standing candidate.
So we go back to the 1948, 1967
And that's
grey area.
time, yeah. This is what happens. Mediocrity. You'll find mediocrity everywhere. Mauritius, prizes on mediocrity.
But the thing is,
Those who are completed, they leave the country and go.
Look, the thing is, okay, if I meet 100 people at your level, okay, you put 100 intellectuals here, finance, economics, doctors, educators, and everything. I meet a lot of serious people. They all say the same thing. In Mauritius, I mean, like I said, I'm a student of this country, I'm learning about this country. Everyone says the same thing you're saying. Yet when the elections come...
But I told you earlier, even if they stand, they won't give them 5 votes.
But they should still stand.
You stand for what? They stand, they have come up, and then they are branded. They'll be put, as they call it, in the poultry somewhere.
Okay, I'll put this forward to you, okay? Do you remember when you said to me earlier in the conversation that unfortunately the Muslim community did not get represented in the 53 election?
48.
48 election. And then they created the CAM, right?
They had other movements also.
But that was the main
party.
one. Now, there was a need for them to have representation. Okay? That party was born. If I take all these 100 people that been telling me, Hamish, there's too much mediocrity in the country. And I said, all right, guys, let's group together, okay, form a little pressure group, and then from that, we take it from there. Because hopefully from that, just like the CAM had Razack Mohamed emerge, possibly one might emerge, and that could be a nascent way.
It is a nascent way, fine. But would they get support from the system? The system is different.
No, but at first the system will kill them. But people will give hope to them.
Maybe, perhaps in future, I don't know. But
But
as
you
I
need to
see
start.
today, I'm too old to forecast a lot of things. But as things stand and I've watched for the last 50, 60 years,
Yeah.
I can tell you nothing will change. It will become worsen. Division has worsened, it will worsen. Today,
Yes, but what can we do? What, I mean, we need
you need a strong man who comes and say,
Yeah, but the problem is this. Look, I was listening to an interview the other day, and I'm going to apply the same thing I heard from him, and I applied that to Mauritius, and he got me thinking. The guy said, "Oh, I wanted to interview the former President Bush, and I wanted to interview former President Obama, former President Clinton, former President, etc., etc." Now, how many former prime ministers do we have in this country?
well, 5. No, sorry, we are 4 now left. No, 3. Anerood Jugnauth, Paul Béranger.
Yeah, but who still, if MMM wins, becomes prime minister again?
Well,
So he's not former.
Listen.
Out of politics.
Out of politics. Out of politics, there's only Sir Anerood now. Out of politics.
So if I was to say on Talk Lip Bip, I want to get a former prime minister who's out of politics, there is only Sir Anerood Jugnauth.
Now, yes.
How is that possible? Since we're talking about 1948 till today, that's 72 years.
Yeah.
It's been the same people. That is not normal.
Well, it is not normal. I said to you, from 48 after, we started dividing ourselves. And so group who commands a majority becomes the prime minister.
Because I think that a prime minister should, like in the UK, you serve a term. Any leader, or wherever it is, has 2 terms.
No, here it is permanent.
That's the
If
thing.
you keep it up.
If you need to change it, I think systemic-wise, practice-wise, I think the system. I mean, I like the Westminster system. People argue about the voting procedures, like a majority voting.
It's good that they discuss, but,
Yes.
but it works well for
But
them.
any leader should have a 2-year shelf life, 8 years,
I think yes.
and then the parties within themselves have their own elections to decide who is best
Yeah.
to represent. Because the thing is, you can't have someone who's 70 years old, who's been in politics for so long, and have that young mindset to change things. Because you need someone with a fresh look. Now, how can a 70-year-old know what's good for the 20-year-olds? Because the way you were brought up with a different mindset will not apply.
Yeah.
And then you create that disengagement. And this is why a lot of people say, well, the kids aren't interested in politics because there's no affinity there. Now, I mean, you have grandchildren. I mean, you love to see them.
Yeah.
But then you have your way of discipline that's foreign to them.
Yeah.
So they'll come and see grandpa, but they're not going to live with grandpa.
No, they won't.
They'll go crazy.
Yeah.
They need to get out because you understand their world.
But I stand all modernity.
True. But can you understand that? So you need someone that can understand.
Well, then they should relate to their age. I mean,
Absolutely.
You can't relate to you.
So there is a change there. I think there's lots of
change.
practices.
Everybody talks change, as I said to you. You have to change the system. And to change that system, you need people. People.
In your experience, I mean, you've read a lot. Okay, you've read a lot of books. You've seen how movements have started from an idea. Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam.
No, it was not his idea only. Remember?
But he had the passion. He had an idea.
Yeah, he had the passion
to change.
I mean,
But he did. He went through a lot.
Yeah, there is a struggle. Obviously, as you said, that there's a group which has come, which may come up.
Yeah.
That you said they'll have to take that struggle. They might not succeed.
So let's say today, you got a bunch of youngsters.
Yeah.
And they're like, Pandit, from your experience, from what you've read about politics and what you've seen, how do we go about bringing a change politically where we can rival?
Politics, sir.
Put the negatives to one side. We all know what
No,
the problems
politics starts from the pavement.
are. Okay.
Your intellectual, I won't call it intellectual, that group, the nascent group, the qualified, the capable, the competent, whatever you call it, first they should slough off, get rid of their communal style. They should think as a Mauritian.
Okay.
The leadership should not go because that community is majority. Gotcha. Competence, ideas. But they should have the capacity. Gaiton Juval had that capacity.
Okay, what is this
You
capacity?
go to the pavement, talk to the small man, be his friend, get his trust, explain him the small man is more sincere than the rich man.
Yes, true.
Sincerity lies on the pavement, not in castles. Remember that. Talk to them, organize them. I still remember in 72, when Gaiton Juval wanted to hold a meeting, I was invited to a meeting as a journalist. Not because, as a paper, I lived in that area where they invited me, 15 houses only. I went there, about 20 person. Gaiton Juval came. You know, dashing hero, they know Gaiton Juval. I talk about 10 minutes, I'm organized this is what we do because you need this. He tries to identify with their problem. And that, it was in the month of September that was held a meeting. Never had such a big crowd earlier. So what I want to tell, those who want to change the system has to go within the system. The system, I mean, the people. Explain them, they understand. If you win their trust and you show them the way, they will be with you. But it takes time. People must be, one generation has to pay the price of the next generation.
Yes.
If you think you'll succeed today,
No,
it will never succeed.
No.
Every generation pays a price for the next. And the next may succeed partly. For example, from years early, for example, from 1886 when we're talking, there was a generation that sacrificed asking for the elective parliament. That they may not have been elected. After 1880, the struggle continued. There were groups of people who came one after other. Then the struggle arrived until 36. There was another group. Each group paid a price.
So therefore, each group needs to have like a group now.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're bringing new, fresh
Of
blood.
course you have to.
That we don't indoctrinate the values.
No.
But we share these values.
Shares values.
So as the older generation leaves, that the generation behind them takes over,
Yeah.
and it's like a conveyor belt.
This is how it goes. Nowadays, in Mauritian parties, for
So
example.
if this happens today, so in order for this new nascent party, in order for it to take root, for the ideas actually to come up to where it should be, it could take about 4 generations.
May take about 2 also, depending, because we have today people who are reading.
But no less than 2. It will have to take 2 at least.
Yeah, they have to. They have to go. There's a generation. I mean, that one generation goes to the next and it goes on like this. I mean, it's as you said, conveyor belt. You don't expect result immediately. We know many young people, some have come up for the World Bank. One of them was my former student also, who is there. He has ideas.
Yeah.
He's trying to grow. They are trying. It doesn't matter if he got 110 votes, whatever it is.
Yes.
But he still maintains his stance.
Gotcha.
And the rest of if all these people group together, come together and discuss, people will understand. But it takes time.
Okay.
You don't expect the fruit.
No.
You put the seed, you expect it to sprout and then expect it to grow.
No.
And then the fruits will come later. You know, there are so many stages. Your seed, it sprouts, it grows, you water it, then it goes up, then the flower comes. The flower will fall, may not bear fruit. You continue trying to water it. And then perhaps it takes about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It bears the fruit. You're happy. Oh, the fruit has come.
Yes.
The MMM started that way. It started and then it struggled, it discussed with workers, talked with them. I've told you, politics starts on pavement. It doesn't start in the drawing room with a whiskey in hand and a 555 in your... No.
So if there's a group of youngsters listening to this and they had to figure out how to move forward and bring change, correct me if I'm wrong. For me personally, after listening to what you're saying, I would look at what shaped Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam in terms of vision, leadership, and how to get there. Then I would also look at the reasons the CAM got formed and what pressures they faced and what spurred them forward. Then I look at Gaiton Juval, his way of communicating with the people, and I'll also look at the MMM, how it was formed from the pavement. If I have those 4 elements and I manage to break it down and create some
how
energy,
to make a relationship,
Yeah.
how to merge all these things together, and then correct, because you may have new ideas.
Of course.
Because
But this will give you a good blueprint in order to spring.
this is political principles. What do you study in economics? Past principles that have succeeded.
Yes.
But if you apply the same principle, doesn't necessarily work. What worked in inflation in England in the last past years doesn't necessarily work here. Situations are different, susceptibilities are different.
Sure.
So you have to expect people to take those principles, but along with it, merge other ideas.
Of course.
So you will find because people grow, people will come up with new ideas. The people the little people that you have,
Yes.
they will tell you they have ideas. They have bright ideas. So take those ideas, build your party, and it goes on like this. It will succeed. Why not? If others have, MMM started with workers, small workers, starting to educate them. There was education going on. I know MMM. I have attended that. MMM used to teach, tell, not indoctrinate. They were telling, this is the issue, let's discuss that.
Yes.
On economics, social, political, everything was done very scientifically.
But that was back in the day, though.
Oh, back in the days.
But not today.
I'm not no longer there. When I was very back for the university, I used to go and attend. I was not a politician. As a journalist, I wanted to know what was going. I attended one workshop and I was very much impressed. They had done some exercise, good relevant exercise on different part of the economy. Sir Anerood was there as one of the members. Paul Beranger was there. It was a nice work. I mean, he told the future. And slowly, they entered an election. 1976. You know where? In Pamplemousse.
Oh.
You know Pamplemousse Friore?
Yeah.
There was a
Of the
by-election.
area, yeah.
A by-election. And that is an election where there are majority Hindus. Now I'm using the word Hindus.
Not in.
I'm not talking of Indians. When we say Indians, there are Muslims, there are Christians also Indians, we have a very wrong concept about Indian here. When you say Indian, you mean Hindus. No. Indians can be Christians, can be Buddhists, can be anybody.
Yeah.
We have Hindus, I'm talking, majority Hindus. And a Hindu, very prominent owner, bus owner, stood as candidate for the government in that by-election.
What's his name? Do you remember?
Mr. Nandlal Budram
Okay.
stood as candidate.
Yeah.
But now, at that time, MMM was started as a Club des Étudiants that became a party, instead I'm not going the history, and they fielded one candidate. They wanted to go. They had been educating people, and they entered the fray. Who was there? Dev Veeraswamy. Dev Veeraswamy is a Hindu within the Hindu group of the minority group. The other candidate was from a majority group,
I see.
and he won the election.
Okay.
Dev Veeraswamy won there. What it proved, there was no caste system there. It was a vote of the majority.
Yes.
If we had worked on that system, today we would have anyone can stand candidate anywhere, not a particular community. We never did any work. Never did.
Gosh.
We started selecting candidate on the basis of caste, ethnic. Then, whatever, all these things became more important than your competence. It's not competence. So you belong to that. Can you spend your money on election? What is your bank balance? You are in. Now we can. Well, I have done this. I think I have a plan. Okay, we'll consider. Because you're talking higher than the leaders.
Okay.
But you shouldn't talk. You must remain silent. So we have a different kinds of politics. In a party, you should be open to discuss.
Yes. And the leader doesn't have to know everything.
Well, they don't.
Obviously, you discuss this because for me, a leader of a party has to be a good manager.
Exactly.
It's like a CEO.
Yeah,
the
he
CEO employs experts in different areas. They all discuss it and then they come up with a plan.
Yeah.
And he ensures that this plan is
It's
actually
implemented properly.
Absolutely.
That's it.
That's what a leader doesn't have to know everything about every single thing.
No.
And should not be afraid of
of taking action.
Exactly.
For example, now you see the Prime Minister does that. The present Prime Minister, Praveen Jaya, does that.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by a couple of people. You may like them or you may not like them.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good. Some of them may be old, very old. The newspapers the other day I saw dinosaurs. But you put a youngster there without experience.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
Yeah. You need to draw on that experience.
You need to draw it. Yeah, recruit and let them be trained.
Yes.
Now, he's surrounded. A few of them tells him. So he manages. For example, the latest decision he took to revoke.
Yeah.
It's done in the interest of a policy.
Yes.
Nobody has said the person is guilty. There is an inquiry. And he also never said that he's guilty.
No.
And he has been smart enough not to say the other names that are listed.
Yeah.
They are civilians.
Yes.
He told only the names of politicians.
Yes.
So it's a nice decision. So this is what to come to you, that he tries to manage and implement.
Yes.
That's what a leader is.
That's what it is.
So I mean, this is the way the group you are talking, the young, should come up. Build up. If we had done that, as I said, from pre-early time, we would have had a different, may not have succeeded fully,
Sure.
but we would have had a new outlook.
Yeah.
For example, there are many places where some people, they don't have any majority, but still they are elected.
Yes.
I mean, Mauritius is not that communal. But there is an opportunity to work on that.
Because there's so much, for me, what's just a shame is that there's so much untapped potential. Mauritius can be the Singapore it wants to be. It can be, it really can be. It's just, the system isn't designed to give it the opportunity to do so. Whereas, but the thing is, it's like you have a car, but you don't use it fully. You're only using one gear and you're not using
Sir,
the
if we so much prize to be close to India, why don't we learn that lesson from there? The Prime Ministership is now in the hands of a common person.
Yeah.
He came, then when we looked at who he was, from where he was, he had the potential, he proved it.
Yes.
He proved it in Gujarat, he can do it, raise the state. Why not this as Prime Minister?
Yeah.
The people did not select their people, they selected the able person. This is a nice change.
Yeah.
Perhaps this will continue forever there. The new people will come, people from the common people, because after independence, India had only what I call the Babus, those who came from the colonial people, close to the colonial people, middle class. The small man had no chance.
Yes.
You should have been a royal blood, royal family. There are a couple of books that you read from there. There's a biography written by a former external minister, I hope he was, Natwar Singh.
Okay.
And that biography, if you read, you can smell it, how only those, the upper class, could be in politics and, the lifestyle, he was in politics and he was talking about him without knowing that he's telling something that it opens your eye if you read critically.
Brilliant.
So, people, you must read.
Yes.
If you don't read, you will continue with the system that you have. How many?
Yeah.
Read everywhere what is happening. How many people know why Modi is elected? What are the qualities of Modi? Except on the social media that talks.
Yeah.
He got the ability.
We need a good analysis, and I think that this book that you're preparing, this study you're doing into Sir Seewoosagur Ramgoolam, I think that would be a very good book.
I'm not only doing on that. I'll do on those of the politicians because many have said, for example, Sir Anerood Jugnauth.
Yes.
How many knows how he shaped himself to be?
What it takes to become that person, whether you like him or not. But then he has done something.
He has.
For you to come from nowhere and to become a prime minister, at the end of the day, look, it's not easy.
Can you imagine?
It's not easy.
I always take a lesson for Sir Anerood, for example. He's a lawyer. With difficulty, he went to school. He didn't go to the best schools in this country. He went to Renaissance College, a small college in a corner.
Yeah.
He did his studies, worked for government, saved his money, little money. He didn't get support. His uncle, obviously, very good friendly chummy, helped him and he went, how many people know the way he struggled in England, what he did to get his law degree and practice degree, comes back here. No one, nowhere. I mean, he's no name. He flies slowly. He has a family. He works. Whatever, how he went to advise companies. And then how many knows about why he came into politics? Who influenced him?
Yeah.
Who influenced him? And what are the decisions, how he took decisions? Nobody knows.
Yeah, what mental processes went
How a
into
man,
making a decision, tough decisions?
because I know a party where he was my boss at one time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
When I first came, I was in a paper called the Congress.
the Congress.
The Congress was a paper, a very strong paper. I was the chief reporter, again the youngest,
Okay.
with Mr. Devendranath Dharma as the editor and Premchand Devi as the editor, two editors.
Yeah.
One was a lawyer, the other one was a graduate in science, and then there was myself, there were a couple of people there.
Yeah.
The paper was to sell at 10 cents a paper. So, I mean, he was the board. Very straightforward guy. Straight ideas. This is the. Then later, he shaped the Congress, we were all together. I was not his friend, he was my boss.
Yeah.
So then he went into politics. Slowly. Congress also was doing politics, it has a different public, that is another matter, but we're talking of Sir Anerood. Then he joined IFB, Independent Forward Bloc. He stood as candidate against a stalwart of the political, or the Labour Party.
Okay.
A stalwart, unbeatable. Anand Bijara, improper. And he won the election.
Oh, wow.
Bijara went down.
Yeah.
So he had a time of what struggle he made.
And how got him into politics?
Oh,
Sir Anerood Jugnauth.
what you said the question?
So what made him get into politics?
That's what I'm asking. Well, nobody knows.
Really?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows why he did.
No, there are people who know, but we have not written it. The majority of people don't know. So he struggled there.
Because we know about Chacha. We know about Sir Seewoosagur.
No, I have not worked in detail. I had a plan because I wanted to finish one research and we go.
Of course, yeah, well, that makes sense. But it's curious. It's interesting
Yeah.
how there's nothing written on what made him.
Only one book is written on him, important book.
Okay.
I mean, which I call history book. Yeah, there are some, things that you may not appreciate.
Yeah.
More should have been added.
Sure.
But it's a serious book
Okay.
by Kevin Chillington
Okay.
on Anerood Jugnauth. That was a good book. And I won't say the best book, but it's a book.
Okay. It's
Important.
It's
It's history, sad.
Yeah.
The others also give us some element, but they are more of a tap my back and that.
Yeah.
But they still give you some information. But I don't want this information. I want to know his struggle, his rise from that little place. From power, he goes up. And then he joins the IFB. And later, he leaves party, he becomes a minister, and then leaves to join the court, the judiciary. And he becomes a magistrate. And then, why? What was, how he, what shaped him there?
Yeah.
So these are important things to know.
Describe his
Because
rise to prominence.
then from there, he joined the MMM as his, I think, legal advisor or something, and member, of course. That was again another school perhaps for him. Until he was chosen on how he was chosen was written in an article when we were working together with Sid Selvam and myself for editing financial news. And one of the stories, I think, he wrote, I don't remember the day, must be around, I don't know, I think 2005 roughly he wrote, I don't remember.
Sure.
But he wrote about how he was selected as leader of the MMM. He has written, but this has again to be verified and things.
It was Sir Anerood Jugnauth.
Yes, he was
At
like,
some point, it was touted as the leader of the MMM.
yeah, how, why? There are certain things.
Oh wow!
This-
I was under the impression that it's always been.
No, he was never a
Bélanger.
leader. Later, Bélanger was the secretary of the party. Later, he became the leader. The president at one time was Mr. Hiralal Bagalu. There are so many things. But these are known things. What is not known? You should interview the man. Go through the books. Go through archives. It's a big work. You take about a year to do that.
Yeah.
These people will lie. And this man came at a time when we were in real difficulty. 1982, jobless, most people. Not doing of the government, but we were independent 1968, hardly any resources.
That's a 60-0 year.
60-0. It came because there were The party at that time gave education free. There were so many things. People started getting educated.
Yeah.
But there were dual job opportunities. There were so many. This has again to be analyzed.
Yeah.
What caused the failure? On the other hand, MMM was educating people. And then there was also the contribution of Haris Budu, who also understood politics. He knew how to manage politics, how to organize people. You need organizers.
Yes.
So he organized. He is also a nice leader. Somebody perhaps should make a study. He's a poor man. He started from a poor background. We should make a study on that man. What made him the man he was?
But scientific.
Scientific.
Nothing.
Nothing you go on the interview and write what he says.
Yeah, no, that's not
It has been triangulated information.
Yes.
And then what happened now? How now after 1982? We had practically nothing. Nothing. I mean, there was investment in the country. I don't say the Labour Party didn't do anything. That would be wrong on my part. They were doing it. How that difficult time, tough time, how these measures, even there was split in the MMM in 1 year after election. 9 months, 1982. 1982-60 was there. And then there was the MMM and the PSM. PSM was the party belonging to Harish Budu, which was united. They combined. The coalition was there to fight the election. They won the election 60. And then there were differences between the Sir Anerood and Beranger. What were the differences? What was so different? People don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, they know this or that, arrogant, and all sorts of rubbish you read around. But we should know what was the exact, why this failed. The coalition which started very well, 60s, which everybody voted.
Yes.
Majority, everybody considered it. The majority.
Yeah.
It voted, they came to power. And then 9 months hardly, a split baby was born.
Okay.
9. They separated.
Yeah.
And then Sir Anerood went to create his MSN. A party from
Born within a party.
born with him. And a couple of people came with him, some didn't come with him. The past, it was an MMM, different MMM. That's why Muhammad is militant.
Yeah.
So it's from the MMM. And he fought the election in 1983. 9 months or a year after. 9 months after Beranger had left. Why? I don't venture to give my views. My views are not important. It's not based on research. It will be based on hearsay.
Yes.
We have to do research. How this man took that decision. A man who was born within the party, who grew up with the party, threw the party away. Or was thrown out of the party, put it differently.
Yeah, sure.
And he worked hard to give you the economic miracle. The country progressed under him.
Yeah.
Today people walk with mobiles, with Masantalpuri on motorcycle. You find Brie being sold in brand new cars.
Yeah.
What were the peddlers and Masapistas buying new cars, 700,000 to carry the pistas and sell in the market.
Yeah.
How it happened? Has anyone thought about it? Every house perhaps has got a mode of transport. Mobile, we have a population of 1.2 million. I'm sure there are almost 3-4 million mobile around.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Electricity, transport, medical. Nobody talks about it. If we say the economy under SSR, is there a book?
No. No, it's not a book. It's just general idea. It's too abstract.
This is all essays
Yeah.
and couple of writings that are there.
Yeah.
Is there a book on the economy under SSR, under SAG,
No.
under Sir Anerood?
No.
Nobody has studied. What caused our economic miracle?
Yeah. What are the factors?
What are the factors
impact?
that decided it? People say he was here, he was there, some of that.
That's nothing. That's not.
But we all know everybody has to be serious.
Yeah, of
He was Prime Minister, he has to be serious.
Yeah.
But what are the factors? How you applied them? Nobody has written. We have to write these. It's important for the posterity.
So the life and decisions of X, Y,
Oh,
and Z, that should be approached in.
Of course, we have to promote research.
Yeah.
We have to have all these. So this is how the economic miracle came. Why the change came.
Yes.
And then how a person, is he his patriotism? He was president, enjoying a nice life. I don't know whether president enjoys life, right?
Sure.
But I know he's head of state.
Yeah.
He's more important than the prime minister.
Yeah.
Prime minister is head of a government, but he is the boss of the country.
Yes.
He leaves that to contest election again to be a prime minister. Can you imagine that? Why he does that? He has given a couple of reasons, but we must find out more.
Yeah, what went through his mind? What was he seeing that he felt that should draw him back into active life? Was it something that he wasn't happy with? Did he feel like he was underperforming? Did he think that had more
Or did he
to
think that the government was underperforming? What? How? Why?
Yes, why? And whether he would have the solutions in order to bring it back, because people can say what they want about these guys, but at the end of the day, you have a sense of, you like you said, the economic miracle of 1982. Now he had a massive hand in that, and then for him to see something go down the drain, he's like, listen, I can't see this happening, not on my watch. So I have to come back, and I want to do it.
This is the hypothesis we are drawing.
Yeah.
Now we have to find out. Research means you must do research, serious research.
Yeah.
Don't come on newspapers and blurt out any damn thing. That's why I don't read. I hate reading it.
Yeah.
I prefer to read a fiction.
Of course.
And I enjoy it rather than read all mucks that they publish.
So I think research. So let's just wrap this up, because it's almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, super.
It's 2.5 hours. So what we've learned today is that if you want to change politics, we should look at these historical facts. 1963, the CAM, Paul Béranger, Sir Anerood Jugnauth, and look, and true facts, not what we have at the moment. We need real research.
Yeah.
And Gavin Juval for that matter.
No propagandist.
No propaganda stuff, okay? No pat my back, pat your back, and leader worshipping in order to get a job. None of that. We also talked about how theatre can be revamped in order to have like new dramas, etc., in order to make it more relevant and to push the youth. Education, we touched on that, and it definitely is not working. It needs to be changed at the policy level. Talking about new research work that needs to be done. I mean, we have universities, we have scholars, we have people that have PhDs behind their names and calling themselves doctors. So we have people who can do this. We need to understand, be objective. The media, we have to be careful with the media. Too much propaganda. Best thing to do is have a plurality of information, and don't let yourself form an opinion based on one outlet.
Don't get stuck to one.
Get a whole range. And always take it with a pinch of salt. If you really want to know the information, there's the Hansard, especially if you follow politics. Go to the Hansard, you'll get it all there. You need old information, go to the National Archives. And then if they want to get your book now, this book on government that you wrote, tell the people, how can they reach you?
They can reach you. I mean, they can find it at the National Library. There are books there.
Okay.
Yeah. If they want it free also, I can give. There are about 20-30 copies with me.
Okay.
If they want it, they can for me.
And you're on social media?
On social media, I have a Facebook, and I have just started one SS channel, media channel.
Okay.
But that is basically more to promote Bhojpuri dramas and Bhojpuri.
So it's still an early days.
Yeah, because I'm a Bhojpuri speaker.
Yeah.
So speaker, I mean, it's my mother tongue.
Okay.
And I want that language to survive because it's getting lost slowly with the evolution now. It's a very sweet language, a language of, that shapes the personality, the soul of the person, but whole development. I mean, there are certain cultural values and values that are perennial. I mean, this is the type, and I want really people to know the right Bhojpuri. Even my show on a radio, on a private radio, is very much popular. People like it because it talks of something. I don't want to popularize anything. I'm not saying.
But you can talk about your channel. So it says
SS Ocean Media.
That's for YouTube.
Yeah, we have.
And on Facebook, it's your name.
My name.
So spell your name.
Sobhanund Seeparsad, Seeparsad.
So Sobhanund Seeparsad.
Yeah, when you hit on that, they will always see my face and also. But I'm very little, not so much active these days.
Sure.
I put a couple of stuff because the thing that goes around, I really, I don't like it.
I think you've got two things very important here that you have to contribute to Mauritius is Bhojpuri. Boost that, like you said.
That's my
The second thing, these research papers you're doing.
I really don't want my research papers, my writing to go on. I want the Bhojpuri to come up,
Yeah.
and I want to build my film sector because we have done that film studies. We know what it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have chances in Mauritius. There are very little chances,
These
but
things
hopefully
will
it will come.
Yeah, these things.
I got an idea about 3-4 days back, which I want to share not now to you.
Sure.
Later, I'll tell you what I have. In fact, you just told me about the 5 minutes thing or the whatever. We have a subject and we come and put it there.
Yeah.
So that's what we will do.
Yeah.
I think that's
We can talk
fine.
about the whole idea.
No, we can do that. And actually, there are a couple of things to be done. I want to put it in Creole.
Yeah.
Why not? Creole is understood everywhere. I'm not here to, as people say, hey, the grammar, who cares for the grammar and things, man?
Yeah, it's true.
I want to communicate. If when I say something, you understood it,
That's all.
enough, my job is done.
That's it. That's what it is.
My newspaper or my stuff is not a grammar or academician time. I want to teach the academic what I know.
Yes.
I don't want to learn for the other thing for other media, but this is what we have to do. So I really look at these things, the growth. I'm a media man by and large. I'm a stupid guy. I don't know many things. I'm a media man.
Yeah.
I'll remain a poor media man. And I love that. I'm very happy with it because I know when I leave this earth, this little thing that I wear, that also will take taken off.
Yeah,
Never
sure.
put something else.
Yeah.
So I don't bother so much about what I have, what asset I have. I'm happy if I get my 3 meals.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of friends. I see them share my ideas. Just as we have been friends for many years.
Yes.
And I share my ideas. I like talking to people who can share ideas.
Yeah.
Who can not say hello, hello, yeah, stuff. But contradict.
Yes.
Let's see what's new. But I have seen now in Mauritius, in most companies, if you give your open opinion, you're set aside
Yeah.
in a corner. You are no longer wanted.
Yeah.
People here don't like to be contradicted. If the boss tells you, he sings. It's a very nice voice, sir.
Yes.
Even it's like braying like donkeys. So you must say yes.
Gotcha.
You must be a yes man. No should not be in your dictionary. Your lexicon should be free of no. But that is, I'm sorry. So I'm not that man.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think because I think what I think is good.
Yes. Yeah.
God has blessed me with some grey matter, not too much. I'm not a genius. So as I said, I'm a media man. I live in my media. I read my law. I know what is law. I know what to study and I know what to talk. I know where to go. I have a couple of friends. I don't make friends with too many people.
Yes.
I'm very much reserved and I'm not snob. I can be friend today with an academician now,
Yes.
and I can be friend 5 minutes later with a man in the biscuit factory. So
Well,
that's what I am.
So on that note, thank you very much for coming. I'm sure the people listening will love this. We've learned so much. I'll definitely have you back soon. So we've got lots of more stuff to talk about. And on that note, thank you for coming. Pleasure having you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
mate.
receiving me.
Thank you for coming. Respect. Bless. Take care. Bless.
Humiliate the
Tiens, c'est 30 ans, 3 minutes.